Brigades patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act. But people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Well, it's doubleheader Thursday. Not entirely sure there's been one of those before, and it's the wilting champions Mumbai Indians up first against the Rajasthan Royals in Delhi. Before, this afternoon, we move to Ahmedabad for Delhi Capitals against that other team, Kolkata Knight Riders. So it's 4th v 7th, followed by 3rd versus 6th. Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. I'm Nigel Henderson, Gorilla Hendo, and we've got you an 8-hour injection of this wonderful sport. Mumbai have lost 2 in a row. Glad to get away from those sticky surfaces in Chennai. And Rajasthan come after a win against KKR, but are absolutely blown away by 10 wickets by the RCBs not so long ago. Anyway, the toss has been made. Mumbai Indians have won it, and they have put a Rajasthan Royals into bat. Alongside me this morning, for it is this morning where we are, I have none other than a man who was so keen to get to this doubleheader that he was on an hour before everybody else. Hello, Nestlers.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Clock's not working in Epping Forest today.
We were on Nestler's time.
We're on Nestler's mean time.
Nestler's mean time, yeah.
Nestler's mean time. And alongside Nestler's, who didn't come in early, quite rightly so, it's none other than the Hofbear.
Good morning, everybody. Woof, a double header of IPL. How exciting.
It is very exciting, of course, and it'll mean that the Bear can have lots more bets in a day. How many did you win on Tuesday?
I think that's about evens by the end, actually.
Came out about even.
It makes it a bit more fun. That's the thing about it, you know. It adds a little bit of, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting for you to tell me a little bit of
danger to the game, I suppose.
Danger. Okay, we all need a bit of danger, I suppose. Now, the teams are as follows. The Rajasthan Royals line up with Joss Butler, who needs a score, doesn't he? He really needs a score, Joss. Yashasvi Jaiswal, who is a 19-year-old left-hander, if you haven't heard of him before. He's got a list day double 100, would you believe? So he can't be all bad. Sanju Sampson, the captain. Shivam Dubey. David Miller. Rahul Tawatia. Rijan Parag. Chris Morris, of course, Chetan Sakaraya, Jaidan Unadkat, who's been bowling very well, left-arm seam bowler in this tournament. In fact, he's got all three of the left-arm seamers, because Mushtafizar Rahman is also in the team, bringing up as number 11. Mumbai Indians go in with just the one change. Ishan Kishan, who's not been in the greatest form, has dropped out. They've brought in Nathan Coulter-Nile as an extra bowler stroke lower order batsman. So we have Rohit Sharma, we have Quinton de Kock, Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Kiran Pollard, Krunal Pandya, Nathan Coulter-Nine, Jayant Yadav, Rahul Chahar, Jasprit Bumrah and Trent Bolt. So pretty much the lineup of opening bowlers that you'd expect there. Mumbai Indians, it's not been a very good start for them, hasn't it? They've lost 3 out of their 5 games. They need to get back on track, Nestlers. What are they going to do?
What are they going to do? Well, I don't quite know. What's the scoring like on this pitch?
I'm not 100% sure. They've only played a couple of games so far in Delhi. I'm hoping they'll get a bit, they would think that they would get more than the 150 or 130s that they've been averaging in Chennai, but it's really down to what they can restrict Rajasthan to, isn't it?
Well, it is, but again, with Mumbai, I mean, you look at that side and you think if they click, there's a shitload of runs in it. I mean, their middle order's been getting bugger all. Rohit's only got 150. I mean, their batting hasn't really come off. When you look at their bowling attack, it's frightening. I mean, with Jasprit Bumrah and Trent Bolt to start and finish the innings, they've really got. I mean, the couple of games that they've won, they've really restricted people with the bowling at the end after getting particularly low scores. Yeah.
Is Joss going to get a score?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? He needs one. I mean, as the last Englishman standing in the Rajasthan Royals, he needs to, face up for Blighty, really. And
for England,
do us proud. For goodness sake, St George, he's got to raise the flag, and he's got to do what he's got to do. But I'm keen to see this new left-hander coming in to bat, opening for them. They started off with was it Manan Vora, and he didn't really come off, so they've gone to another young Indian, and we'll see what he's got to offer. Anyway, let's jingle up those people we think will be involved initially.
Well, this man's batting.
Pryor ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone Sutler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler. Just because he is Joss Butler. 1 S and 2 T's, Joss Butler.
And this man is batting.
From Surya and Uttar Pradesh, Yashasvi Jaiswal.
A classic
classic
jingle.
Mog.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, but I'll make it really loud. And sorry, Mog, if you're listening, but I love it. We think this man's going to open, don't we? Well, let's just go for it.
How does he speak, or play the horn, or clean his teeth, or even yawn? How does he shout? How does he call? Trent Bolt's mouth is really small.
Well, Javwell looks about 12.
Well, I can tell you he's 19. He's 19 in 122 days, I believe.
He's lying again.
So he's nowhere near 20 yet. Of course, we've got no due because it's a day game.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yes, exactly. So this will be fun. We might see a really big score, or we might see the bowlers bowl really well without losing grip of the ball.
It's the countdown drone.
I like the countdown drone. You'd almost think it was real, wouldn't you?
No,
I wished it was real.
Floating
if it was
around
that
there.
big and real, it'd be quite entertaining.
Yeah, you want it to drop on you, wouldn't
No.
you? It's quite weighty. What was the program I was watching when, I don't know, it was one of those thrillers or recent binge-worthy dramas in which a bloke gets attacked by a drone, a politician, and decapitated, but that's all rather nasty. Trent Bolt will open the bowling
What are you watching?
Rajasthan Royals. Yeah, I should have told you. He's in, bowls to Butler, and that I think has come off the pad, gone very fine indeed. for 4 runs. I don't think Butler laid bat on that. He did, apparently. And umpire Chris Gaffney says, yes, that is 4. Very nicely tickled, young man.
me, says she. It's me, says she.
I mean,
Nicely tickled, young man.
Nicely tickled. Oh, very nicely tickled.
Very nicely tickled.
Yeah, just teasing the wicketkeeper. Couldn't quite get across to it. We saw Johnny Bester get dropped doing that first ball yesterday. This one comes right back into Jos Buttler, hits him on the pad. There's an appeal from the man at slip. No real support from Bolt or the wicketkeeper.
There was a kind of half appeal from the bowler to start with, wasn't there? But he just quickly realised it was coming back, probably too high and going down leg, I thought.
Might have even been pitching outside leg. It's right on the margins, doesn't it? Using that replay. Could have been either. But Trent Bolt's been quite expensive early on and has come back and done really well later. Let's see what he does here. All way outside the off stump, looking for that swing, and Jos Buttler has a really big swipe at that one and makes no contact through to the keeper. It goes 4 without loss. I suppose we should go to the Twitter sphere. That's what I've neglected so far, isn't it?
Well, Mog's with us. He says hello and then says, how exciting, you ask? Not very. Farong's with us. Greetings from Dakar. It's only 38 degrees there. Nothing compared to Delhi where it's 42. Bet for the bear. Think Mumbai will win this battle.
Well,
Bangladesh for the first wicket. Sri Lanka 209 for 1.
He plays again away from his body at one outside the off stump, slightly shorter in length, and he's again beaten. Buttler struggling to find the middle of the bat at the moment. He's 4 not out. The score is 4 for no wicket. And yeah, well, interestingly enough, talking about Mumbai Indians winning this, the head-to-head of these two is 11 all, with 1 rained off. And in fact, Rajasthan, according to the stat I saw this morning, have won 4 of the last 5.
Wow.
Which is curious, isn't it?
It's curious.
Anyway, Trent Bolt turns. He's got a ring of 4 on the offside. Comes into Buttler, and Buttler tucks this one off his legs towards mid-wicket, not through the infield, so there is no run. 137 Ks from Trent Bolt.
I was just thinking, I wouldn't fancy sort of getting up in the morning, getting out there, and the first thing I've got to do is face Trent Bolt.
In 42 degrees, 43. I mean, I was just going to sync Hotmite. Hotmite's TV sync isn't working again, by the way. And the bastards will be asleep now, so there's no way of altering that. Apparently it's going to feel like 44 degrees out on the pitch.
Nasty. He's in again. Oh, he's almost gone through him there as he aims a drive. That was a lovely full in-swinger from Trent Bolt. The ball that gets him a lot of wickets. It's going to bring Buttler a single as he gets inside edge onto pad and it runs towards square leg. That is the end of the first over. A decent one from Bolt, and Rajasthan are 5 without loss.
Well, Ravi has tweeted in, hi guys, good to hear you. Do us a favour though. Don't jump on the IPL in a pandemic hand-wringing bandwagon. There's no moral connection between the IPL and the current Indian COVID crisis.
Well, you've just started us off there, Ravi.
It's a viewpoint. I'm not saying it's, I think we're all entitled to our own opinions on this. I've said this morning that I think, admittedly only on the Guerrilla WhatsApp group, that I think if this was happening in this country, I would feel uncomfortable about commentating. I think we're at one remove as Guerrilla cricket in England.
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing.
What's happening on the streets?
We're not there. I mean, if you could see what's happening on the streets, I think we'd have a different view as well. Exactly as Hendo says. But being from here, it just seems a little bit mad. But it's not for us to judge, really. It's not our country, is it?
No, no.
It isn't. One does think about that. There just seem to be commonalities between the way governments are handling these things, particular governments.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we're going to start with Bumrah. We'll jingle him up in a minute. And he's bowling to Buttler, and Buttler is forward in defence. Plays towards extra cover, and there is no run. Jingle that man.
And now they're Monty Bumrah. Oh, you're bowling again, aren't you? Oh, I thought as much.
One thing I will say is I was saying to Nestle before we came out, I'm trying to follow the news in India. I mean, at the moment we've got this Boris scandal going on, which is quite funny. And it's fucking everywhere. Every story and all the headlines are all about that. And in India, when I was looking through the websites, there wasn't so much on. I mean, the main story was always about the pandemic, but a lot of it, other stories weren't.
Full toss, which Buttler fails to put away. In fact, he just pushes it up to mid-on, and there is no run.
Now, is it curtain gate or cash for curtains?
Cash for curtains.
Oh, I like a gate.
Yeah, but a curtain gate doesn't really work. Cash for curtains does.
If you like a gate, you'll see it in the next over when Trent Bolt bowls Joss Buttler. The Buttler gate. In comes Bumrah. Unless he, of course, finds his way through the gate earlier. Onto the back foot he goes. The edges. He's got another 4 somehow. People are flying in all directions. There's a man at sort of backward point gully who dives. There's a man at slip who dives, and it bisects the 2 of them and runs away to where there is no third man for 4 more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
See, I've gone under 22 and a half for the fall of the first wicket, but that presumed that Jaiswal might actually face a ball.
Well, I don't think you should be too confident about Joss Buttler. I mean, that was an edge, and he's already played and missed at 2 balls outside the off stump. That said, once he gets in, he might be more difficult to dislodge. In comes Bumrah again, bowls. It's a good ball. He's going to chase up to the on-striker's end, because the mid-off here judges is a little bit too far back. They get the easy single. It will bring Jaiswal down to face his first delivery of the match. This cash for curtains thing, I mean, yeah, anything that brings down Boris is good by me, but to be honest, his handling of the pandemic is far, far more serious.
Yeah, but he's kind of got away with that, hasn't he? Because the fucking
but
vaccine
I don't understand a media that focuses on curtains instead of the pandemic. I mean, what kind of media have we got? It's stupid.
A right-wing media.
We got a right-wing media.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting that the right-wing media is turning on him.
It was the Mail that went with the big headline against Boris the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's interesting that the right-wing have gone against him.
Yeah. Now, Jaiswal has found his edge. He looked like he was trying to turn that into the onside. Got a bit of an outside edge down to third man. He'll get his first run. Rajasthan will move on to 11 for no wicket.
As you can imagine, Ravi's tweet has induced some conversations between people, but look, all we can do is kind of try and bring you some entertainment, a bit of light relief. Just stay safe, and that's it, really, isn't it? But we can't do more.
I think, yeah. I mean, all these things about staying safe. I mean, it's easier for some people to stay safe than other people, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's easier for some people to stay safe. Bumrah in full ball, right up in the block hole, in fact, that Buttler digs out. It's the end of his over. Rajasthan Royals, after 2, are 11 for no wicket.
Ravi says, fun fact, Blighty is derived, remember your Hobson Jobson Anglo-England dictionary, from the Hindi Vilayati, meaning foreign or from abroad. Basically, the British were all called foreigners. Well,
right.
Well, they were.
Funny enough. We were, yes, basically.
Arsey foreigners too.
Andy Ward's quite excited. He says, I'm back on Guerrilla Cricket soon.
Woo! Woo! Can't wait for that.
Like a bit of Andy Ward, don't we?
We do. I'm not telling you which bit, but we like a bit.
It'll be interesting to see his take on this year's IPL.
You're a little bit muffled today, Bear. Is there something wrong with you?
No, it must be your headphones. I'm fine.
I don't know. The audio from the studio hasn't been great the last few times I've been on.
No, it's true. Maybe we need some more new stuff, which means we need more money from you. Bolt into Jaiswal, who actually takes a step down the wicket and then finds the ball rising a little bit on him. Can only work it to Chahar in the mid-wicket region, and there is no run.
Andrew Wright's joined us from Dakar, and he was laughing at me and the bear vaping before we went on air. I just replied, guilty.
Yes.
Guilty as charged.
I do like a good vape.
Yeah, you do, don't you? Bolt in again. Jaiswal aims a drive at this one, gets a thick inside edge. It'll run to deep square or long leg. Bumrah, I think, fields, and he's run so hard that he's really not got any energy to get the throw in, and just about does. And they move on to 12 for no wicket. Jaiswal on to 2. Buttler has 10.
Leia says, I like how Bojo paid hundreds of thousands of pounds to turn his flat into a particularly tasteless Persian bordello. Some of the pimps at the local red light district here would be ashamed for that interior design.
Well, I mean, I'm just incredulous that it was only done 2 years ago. So what if you don't like John fucking Lewis? You don't want to spend any money. You've got 30 grand of public money to do it. Just do that.
Pulled by Buttler out to deep square leg, and they will get through for another single. I haven't read all the facts, but I thought it was only £28,000 that he'd spent over what he was allowed.
No, 58.
Oh, 58. I thought 58. Yeah, it was 58 in all, but it was only 28. He was allowed 30 of that or something.
No.
It's 30
The
grand a
58
year,
is
isn't it?
excess.
Okay.
Well,
That's the
I
public
originally I had down as 200 grand. And I think you're going to spend 200 grand on a flat that you might live in for 4 years unless you get sacked, right? And you have no equity VAT stake in that because you don't own it. Why the fuck would you do that? It's just
That's why he's trying to get other people to pay for it.
well, exactly.
Bolt, short one, pulled high. Is there anyone out there? No, it's going to bounce a couple of times and it will run into the mid-wicket boundary. So Jaiswal gets his first 4 and Rajasthan move to 15 for no wickets.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Is this his debut?
I heard
Jaiswal?
this morning that Rishi Sunak has refurbished his flat above number 10 and he paid for the whole thing himself.
Well, he's worth fucking millions, isn't he?
Yeah,
Well,
not that I'm a fan of Rishi Sunak, but
His wife is worth 460 million. In comes Bolt. Good ball, tight to the off stump. They want a single as it's dropped down towards gully by Jaiswal, but he's sent back wisely by Butler.
isn't his father-in-law one of the richest people in the country?
I
I
thought
think
his father-in-law.
Yes, that's right. His father-in-law is, and his wife is worth 460 million.
They got some company. I think his father-in-law is one of the richest people in India, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Rishi Sunak is more concerned with refurbishing his face on a regular basis. I mean, he loves pictures of himself, does he not? This is what we hear. He's really rather narcissistic,
Exactly.
certainly in the way he looks. So there you go. Bolt is continuing in the sunshine of Delhi. Very hot sunshine, 44 degrees. We think it's going up to today. He's into Jaiswal, who tries to pull again. Doesn't really get hold of this. Might get a single. In fact, he'll definitely get a single as it's misfielded at mid-on. Will they, in fact, get back for 2? Yes, they will. I think Trent Bolt will be quite annoyed about that. He's gone for 13 from his first 2 overs. Rajasthan, after 3, are 19 without loss. Nestlers.
Let's have a look here. Yeah, loads of people talking to Ravi. Morg says, tune into Guerrilla Cricket for all your fuckwit politician real estate analysis. Farong says, interesting to note, since we have moved on to Delhi and Modi Dome, there has yet to be a no ball bowled. Whilst messages isn't about, did any of you gentlemen watch the PSG MC game last night? Could the impossible happen this year and City win the EC and RCB the IPL? Are they joined? Are they joined in some way?
Well, apart from the fact that they don't win these things, despite being, on paper, good teams, I suppose. Bumrah will continue, none for 6 from his first over. He's coming into Joss Butler, who's on 11. The slip has gone, and it's a good ball. Forces him onto the back foot. Again, he can only drop it down into the offside. Starts to run, but Jaiswal this time is not interested. So they remain where they are. I don't like to talk about football, especially the so-called Big Six anymore. It's a bitter taste, isn't it? It's a bitter taste one has for the riches of football. And I suppose the IPL is part of that. If you talk about the IPL being a sort of rather a circus, financial circus. Well, you have to say that at the Premier League, I think. This is another straight ball, just back of a length, which puts Butler on the back foot, keeps a little bit low as he wheedles it out into the offside.
All top professional sport knows like that. I mean, look at that golf thing where they're going to give players 10 million quid to get the most retweets or something.
Well, that was the other thing, wasn't there? I mean, there was always the thing with golf that you got, even if you were, even if you didn't win the tournament, you got massive appearance money, which kind of takes away a little bit from trying to win. Bumrah in, bowls once more, back of a length and straight, and Butler can do no more than defend straight back to the bowler. Again, no run, 3 dot balls to start the over. Very good from Bumrah. Is that Nathan Coulter-Nile who's got the 2 hats on today? It looks like it. It's 2 hats, two names and 2 hats.
Yeah.
There you go.
Greedy.
Yeah, it is actually. I mean, that's the IPL all over. People wearing 2 hats when they could do with 1. Here comes Bumrah galloping in to bowl to Butler. Aims a big drive, but that one goes up in the air off an inside edge onto thigh. And for a moment, Bumrah thought he might be able to get down and take the court and bowl, but just dropped short of him. So Butler survives, but he's not looking convincing, is our Josh?
No, he's
afraid
not.
to say.
Well, you wonder if he's mentally fatigued.
Well, I mean, he did go home, didn't he, for 3 test matches in India. But apart from that, he's been in bubbles
Since
quite a long time.
Yeah, since whatever before the Test series last summer.
Thing is, what do they do in the bubble when they're not actually playing? Do they socialise with each other? Do they play games? Do they watch telly? What is it? Bumrah in again, back of a length. He's going to try for a single because he's been so tied down. He's going to have to hurry. And if that had hit from mid-on Kieran Pollard, I think that Butler would have been well and truly gone. But he gets the single, and Rajasthan creep up to 20 for no wicket, with one ball remaining in the fourth over.
I bet there's a lot of computer gaming going on.
I imagine so, yeah. But I mean, how much of that can you play before you get fed up with it?
Well, exactly.
I suppose some people never get fed up with it, really.
I think you must do if you're playing on your. I mean, I guess the ability to be able to play online, have conversations with people while you're playing, is a bit of a godsend.
I imagine they spend quite a bit of time on Skype or whatever, or Zoom, or with their loved ones. Bumrah in to Jaiswal, who digs this one out, but there is a man now at third slip, only at third slip, so it's not a ring or a cauldron of slips, and there is no run. So just a single from that over from Bumrah. It's 20 for no wicket after 4.
Mog says any sport that's willing to pay people 50 grand a week must be considered suspect. Warren says morning all, folks.
Morning all.
Leia says, describe your favourite IPL team in one very unflattering sentence challenge. I'll start with Mumbai. That particularly annoying auntie's very expensive boy toys.
I haven't got any aunties, whether they're annoying or not. Not anymore, anyway.
No, I haven't got any anymore.
I've got one auntie. Still alive.
You got an aunt? Still got an aunt?
Still got an aunt.
Well, we're quite
I haven't
old,
got a mother,
we?
but I've got an aunt.
We are going to have a change of bowling. Trent Bolt, after 2 overs, is coming out of the attack, and he's going to be replaced by a giant of a man. It's Giant Yadav.
There we are.
Since I was very young, I realized I never wanted to be human-sized. So I avoided crowds and was defiant. At least by name, I am a giant. Because of this longing in my heart, I'm gonna start the growing on. I'm gonna grow now and never stop. Think like a giant, grow to the top.
It's a very long jingle, in which time he's bowled from round the wicket. Butler has come down the wicket, aimed her almighty slog at the ball, of a horrible looping outside edge, which has just cleared the man running back at cover. Thought he was going to take it at one point, but Butler is really struggling. I mean, he was nowhere near the pitch of the ball. He had premeditated that because he's scoring relatively slowly. Anyway, got a couple of runs from it. He goes back to this one, tries to drive through the offside, but is beaten again, taken by Quinton de Kock. It's a really scrappy innings so far from Jos Butler. He probably should have been called. I think it was Chahar running back there at backward point or cover. And Giant comes in around the wicket to him again, keeps this one fairly flat. All he can do is work it back to the bowler, spills it to Rohit Sharma, who's coming in from mid-wicket to complete the fielding.
I've only got half a run to play with, Hendo.
You have only got half a run to play with. It's 22 for no wicket. Butler dropped on 12 by Chahar off Giant. That's absolutely right. And he's looking well out of sorts. Here comes Giant again. Oh, he's keeping it really flat, but this time he waits for it. It sits up a little bit, and he has time to whip it away over mid-on for one of these.
2 + 2 is a remember.
We are seeing spinners not really trying to spin it, but just bring it down into the pitch quite hard, and it's quite an ugly way of bowling, and that probably got what it deserved, because he realised that's what he's trying to do, and he realised it's going to sit up a little bit for him if he just waits for the ball rather than sort of losing his head a little bit. So that's much better from Butler.
I'm gambling
26 for no wicket.
I'm now gambling on Butler doing well.
Oh really? What have you gone for now?
Over 43.5.
Right, okay. Well, he's got most of the runs so far. In comes a Giant, another horrible flat one, and this time he goes back and pulls it deep into the stands at Delhi, and that will be 6 runs.
He just needs a couple of shots to get into it, and having survived 22 balls, I expect him to go on.
You do? I mean, I think his highest score this season so far is 49. So he's been close to 50. Can he go on and make a really big one? It's been a while. But he's now worked out what Giant is trying to do. And has decided to give it a bit of a go. It'll be interesting to see whether Giant adapts to this and starts floating it up a little bit more.
Hasn't he? He's the one with a round arm, isn't he?
No. You're thinking of Kedar Yadav, who was playing yesterday for. Who was it? I forget now. Anyway, Giant to complete the over. That's gone for 12 runs. He's down the wicket again, but once again he puts it hard into the pitch. This time Butler works it out to deep mid wicket, and they take a single. He'll keep the strike. Butler has 25. Jaiswal has 8. The Rajasthan Royals, after 5 overs, are 33 without loss.
On Crick Tracker, we're joined by Rakib Almeida, Ashk Kumar, Guriman, Yudrav Supikar, Sandhu Cobra. This one's going to test me. Chandra Pal Madavin, Ashk Kadu, Kankan Gopal, Samin SK, Harinder Yadav. We're getting love from Hafiz Khan, Nirmal Kumawat, Suradip Daj, Raman Yadav, Bharat Boi, Satish Lodi, Yuvek Yadav, Soruv Deb Soruv. Thanks
all.
for joining us.
Keep safe.
Hope you're enjoying it.
Yes, indeed, and I hope we're taking your mind off other things if it helps. We're going to have a change of bowling, and Nathan Coulter-Nile, who was brought into the team to replace Ishan Kishan, is coming on to bowl. Medium fast Australian bowler. He's got a ring of 5 on the offside now. Still 1 over of the power play to go. Butler will be trying to make use of this. He's in, bowls, hits him on the pad. It'll run down to long leg. I think that's a leg by. There may have been a bit of bat involved. We shall see in a minute. I do think it is just an extra.
Shall I give him a
sundry,
jingle?
as they say in Australia.
Shall I give him a jingle?
Yeah.
Mr. Coulter-Nile.
Nathan Coulter-Nile.
Nice.
Yes, indeed, it is he. I think it's his first game of this year's tournament. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty on that line. He's into the left-handed Jaiswal. He hasn't faced a ball for ages. This one rises up towards his chest, but he plays it down into the onside. Runs through for the single, gives the strike to Butler, who's going along now reasonably well. 25 off 24. He's faced 24 balls. Jaiswal just the 8 so far, so monopolising the strike. The England wicketkeeper batsman, and the score is 35 without loss. There we are, the head-to-head last 5 matches. Rajasthan 4 times winners over Mumbai Indians. Mumbai need to get it back on track. Will they today? Coulter-Nile goes a little bit wide. He's pulled by Jos Butler, pulled well, but Hardik Pandya is out there at a deep square leg, so it's gone straight to him, and so they just get a single. 36 for no wicket, 3 balls remaining in the power play, and then 1 more over of us 3, and then it'll be a time for a change, and the long-awaited Andy Ward, I think, will be among those joining you.
It will be. It'll just be you going out and Andy coming in, actually. But,
okay. All right. Well, yep, we're having to wait for later to till Messi Jez joins us. This is beautifully played by Jaiswal. He gives himself room outside the leg stump. It's a fairly straight delivery, but he carves that away through extra cover, and it brings in 4 runs. I was just thinking about the sort of confidence of youth in being only 19. But as a youth, I had no confidence. Did you have confidence as a youth, Nestus?
I was an arrogant shit.
Really?
Oh, I thought I was the best thing to happen to tennis since Rod Laver when I was playing.
Yeah, I thought I should have been playing, we're getting county contracts.
County cricket, yeah. But there's a difference between thinking that and being, totally convinced of it. Brilliant pull from Jaiswal. He's really got hold of that. And that has gone sailing away over square leg for a big, bad Giant. One of these.
They got going in this last over here. 46 isn't too bad off a power play.
Not at all. I mean, 8 and over, isn't it? Pretty much, if they get another couple of runs. That's 77 metres. He really picked that up nicely. He looks like a good player off the back foot, does Jaiswal, I have to say. Done that very nice indeed. I mean, it's cleared the boundary by a good 20 metres.
And that's what I asked earlier. Do you know if this is his IPL debut?
No, I think he's played 5 games, I think we saw earlier, or this is his 5th game. He's only played 2, I think this is his 2nd of this tournament. As I said, Vora was up top with Butler to start with. Didn't really come off. Here comes Coulter-Nile, final ball of his over. He's in, back of a length. Just dropped down cleverly by Jaiswal. This time to the 3rd man. He keeps the strike. He's thought, hang on, I'm going quite well. I need more of the strike. It's 47 for no wicket, 6 overs bowled, and it's time for a Woodstock strategic timeout.
And what can you do? Woodstock, you can buy cricket bats, pads, holdalls, anything you like, anything to do with cricket. Very good quality stuff as well. Won awards for their bats and a hell of a lot cheaper than your Grey Nichols and all that kind of high-end stuff that all the pros use. Although some pros obviously do use Woodstock.
Who was the most recent one? I saw someone the other day. I think Stephen Finn has now just taken on a Woodstock bat.
Well, there you go.
He's got a 50 in Test cricket.
Well, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
They won best bat this year by the cricketer, I think, or something. Or was it Wisden?
No, it was cricketer. It was the cricketer. And of course, you get 15% off if you say GC Radio.
When you go to the checkout, GC Radio. The season's starting, so go and get all your new goods from there.
Absolutely. Can't stay fairer than that.
Sally R56 says, at least Johnson is transparent in his greed and actions. The Prime Minister in Australia is apparently doing God's work and was put in the role to do so, and I thought we were a democracy. He is laying on hands when he makes you shake his. Ugh.
Yeah,
democracy is an endangered concept right now in the so-called
theocracy seems to be coming back. There's a lot of right-wingers are bloody bang on about God. Sorry if you're a God person, but man, he pisses me off.
Bolsonaro. I mean, Bolsonaro. At least Bolsonaro might face impeachment in Brazil for what he's done. So we shall watch that with interest.
There seems to be a reluctance to actually prosecute fucking politicians in Western countries.
Well, they should. I mean, they should. I mean, they really should. It doesn't happen, does it?
No,
because we're so fair. We think we create this myth of being so fair and British, don't we? Anyway, back to the tweets.
I was going to say, Warren's said, given the length of time these games are taking and the time difference, I have no idea if this is the first or second game of your double header. To which I said, it's the first. To which not Fred Titmus replied to my saying about time, said, says the guy who doesn't know what time it is.
It's true. It's true.
Mog says, our PM is basically engaged in spiritual rape, which is pretty on brand for his government.
Why have they all come at the same time? It's all very strange, isn't it?
The internet.
It's Morrison.
The end of times. That's what
Johnson,
it is.
Bolsonaro, the guy in Hungary, who I can't think of what his name is.
The internet.
And of course Putin, of course. Well,
it's the internet.
Is it the internet?
It's the internet.
I think it's kind of always been
blame the internet.
Okay, let's blame the internet. Okay, all right. We were talking on the Gorilla WhatsApp this morning, weren't we, about various football organisations and cricket organisations pulling out of Twitter and social media for a week, wasn't it, or 3 days?
This weekend, isn't it?
This weekend. I don't think it's going to have much difference. I agree with it, but I think you actually need to get a whole lot of fans to do it as well, because it's fans that are all over the internet, isn't it?
Yeah, but how do you stop people being racists?
You can't. I mean, this is the problem. I mean, you have to educate from an early age, don't you?
Yeah.
Or you have to have someone who's open to being educated. But if you're completely closed-minded and that's your view, it is very difficult to change people, I think. If you are just naturally nasty, greedy,
if you're brought up that
person,
way,
and if you're brought up that way, I'm not sure. Some people see the error of their ways, but some people don't. Anyway, away from the politics, away from the Ben Elton. Have we got any more tweets?
Mrs. Thatch. No, I think. Oh no, no. A lot of people talking to each other.
Okay, all right. Well, you're allowed to do that. Talking is where change starts, isn't it? Really. New over from Giant, you're tucked away through square leg by the young left-hander Jaiswal. And
ladies and gentlemen, we've replaced Hendo this morning with Bono.
Yeah. I wish I had Bono's money, and I do. I'm probably some wonderful things with it. Does Bono do good things with his money?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, he does. He does. Much criticised and stuff, but he has done quite incredible
he's a
stuff.
massive tax.
I've got nothing against Bono. I just don't like his music. Is that fair enough?
Right. Yeah. Each to their own.
Yeah. Yadav coming in around the wicket to the right-handed Butler. Butler goes back and hammers this over cow corner. You can't drop that short against Butler, and it's 6 more runs.
No, Bono's massive into tax avoidance, though.
Oh, there is that, isn't there?
I think he's resident in Monaco. Fuck off, man. I mean, if you earn that much money, pay your fucking tax, guy.
Absolutely,
Jesus.
absolutely. I mean, really.
You know, he got a lot of African debt cancelled. He convinced Bush and other Western leaders to cancel
but
about
still pay your fucking tax, man. Don't.
Well,
no, not well. You're expected to pay tax. I'm expected to pay
to have
tax.
a society, you've got to have tax.
Exactly.
If you're earning billions, you need to pay it.
He doesn't pay zero tax.
He does. He's tax avoided.
Along the lines of Google and Amazon.
I don't know the details of it.
He's resident in Monaco, mate.
No, he lives in Dublin.
He's resident in Monaco.
No, he lives in north side of Dublin.
Flicked away through square leg, back to the cricket. Goodness me, it's going to be a long day if we're getting that political this early. They can take a single to Coulton Hart, cheap square leg.
We're arguing about Bono. How did we get there?
I don't know. 55 for no wicket. Halfway through the 7th over, Butler now has 33 of those. Been quite impressed by Jai as well. 19-year-old, playing only his 5th IPL game. And Giant is staying round the wicket to the left-hander. He's in. He goes back, forces through mid-on, and they'll take another single. 56 for no wicket.
It's good little opening
people
stand.
Always do things like that anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we should encourage them.
It doesn't mean you should encourage them, exactly.
Well, I'm not. He just doesn't listen to me.
No, but I mean, lots
Maybe
of very rich people don't pay.
Over the wicket now to Butler, who gives himself masses of room outside the leg stump, and that's very cleverly fired in, just inside the wide guidance line. And Butler says, "Oh no, I can't hit that." Has to let it go. It's too far away from him. So he gave that one away a little bit too early, did Joss Butler. He flexes at the knees. He bowls this one wide as well, but too wide. That is outside the guidance line. And quite rightly, Chris Gaffney turns towards the scorers and signals one of these. It's quite an interesting little contest between these two, because this time Butler starts to go outside his off stump and he fires it in and he clips it away through a mid-wicket for another single. It's the end of the over. It's time for a change. It's the Bear, I believe, going on to
ball by ball, indeed.
Ball by ball.
And welcoming
by
Andy
for the first time.
Hello.
Hello. Been a while, Andy. How are you, mate?
A little bit. I've been coming in on Sundays. I know you've been mostly doing these weekday ones.
Absolutely.
I say it virtually coming in.
Yes. All right.
Mark wants to know if Hendo has the same Christ complex as Bono.
Yes. Well, we had last time we were on. He had this whole thing about being God in his own religion.
The funny story Laz sent, the Bono story, is that he was on stage and started snapping his fingers. Every time I do this, a child dies, and some wag shouted out, "Well, then stop doing it, you evil bastard!"
Yes. Well, I mean, he's got a big ego, as Bono, hasn't he? Probably taking way too much coke.
Every single lead singer in the history of rock music, probably as well.
Very true. Very true.
I mean, what do you want? Would you prefer him to just spend it on what most of the rest of them spend it on, not naming anything?
Yachts.
Well, yeah. Clip down to long on, and here's a man down there. It'll be a single. I think it's Hardik Pandya down there. Oh, he can spend his money on whatever he likes after tax. That's what.
Yeah. Agree. Anyway, decent start from the Royals. Butler took a long time to get going, I was seeing, but he is now. He's caught up.
He has. I've gone over 43 and a half for Butler.
Ooh, almost there.
Almost there. Well, exactly. He'll fuck it up just as he gets there, but you know. Slog swept by Jarswell down to deep square leg. It'll be a single off the bowling of Chaho. He's coming to the attack. Should have mentioned that. He's got a jingle. It goes a little bit like this.
Maybe you have a dream of bowling a perfect ball, winning the final game, but when you wake up, you're a hooter.
Well, he's had quite a good season. so far, it seems to
Yeah,
me.
featured for India.
Indeed. That's a shit ball, though. He's pulled that down, and Butler has gone on a back foot and lamped it once more over cow corner. Similar result to everything else, way back in the stands for another 6. And this could be the day. It's 44 degrees out there. It certainly is bloody hot. I think
That's the thing with Butler. If you do drop short to him, he will put those away for 6 a very high proportion of the time.
Absolutely.
You see even some other batsmen, good batsmen, you know, they'll cloth one to square leg. They'll even get out sometimes. They miss timing one rows, but Butler puts some 15 rows back usually.
Oh, there. But
Was
I
out.
told you, you fucking idiots. He's come charging down the wicket, and that's a good ball by Chahar. He's beaten him in the flight, head in the air. Turns past the outside edge of the bat, doesn't bother looking back. It's the simplest of little stumpings by Quinton de Kock, just knocks the off bail off, and you're getting this jingle, I'm afraid, Mr. Butler.
Ball.
Fuck off! Just fuck off!
Didn't really need to do that, but
On your bike, mate.
he's a mile down the track. He's absolutely nowhere near the pitch of the ball. The ball is pitched off screen, and he's halfway to it. It's good bowling by Chahar, you have to say. Poor selection of shot by Butler. Probably didn't need
Well,
to
it's
do
obviously
that.
premeditated.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say at the pace Chahar is bowling. We go to the screen for this, and Butler didn't even look behind him when he walks off. So, yes, out and move on.
Indeed.
But not a bad start, 66 for 1. Although I was just going to say, they're not exactly miles ahead either at 8 and over. So, who's going to come in now, I wonder?
No, but I mean, I think. Oh no, Mumbai are batting. I was going to say Mumbai have got a very good bowling attack, so yeah, they're bowling first. I'm getting that all wrong. They want to get 180, 190, I'd have thought, minimum. In a day game, there's going to be no dew to make it harder for the bowlers to bowl in the second half, though.
Well, to get that from here, they'd have to go pretty much 10s.
Yeah, I've seen that inordinate chasing. I've seen 40s and 50s chased down in the last 3 overs quite often. Doesn't seem to happen so much when teams are building, though, does it?
No, well, you should have much. I mean, it does focus. If you need 40 or 50 of those last 3 overs, that will focus you in that direction.
Yeah, that's true. This man's coming, skipper.
We got to the crowd around 9, and by then, Sandra Sampson had begun to shine.
And his first ball, he does shine. He waits for it, pitches a bit wide and a bit short again by Chahar. Sits up to be hit through extra cover out to that boundary, which is untenanted for 4 runs.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary, crossing a boundary.
I do like Sanju Sampson. He's a classy little bat.
He can score big. He can certainly score big.
With a good start, as you say, or a reasonable start anyway. He's got a chance to build. Chahar is in again. It's on the legs. Doesn't turn this time. It's just clipped by Sanju Sampson down to long leg, and there is a single. Have you been analysing and laying bets on the IPL this year?
I've been putting a few bets on. I have, in my efficient way, outsourced them. It's a guy sending me some bets. Yeah, I've been going quite well actually. Made a few quid on these. We've had a few totals go over, as in match totals. 330 runs.
Oh right,
match,
okay.
or less. A few of those go the right way.
Well, I should remind you then that the GPL, because you've got 10 minutes left to enter, is exactly that. But you've got to figure it out on the button, not over. Get it on the button and you win what's in the pot. I think there's 39 quid in the pot. It's not to be sneezed at. I shall get it up.
Anything on social media, Nestlers?
Yes, Tomo Pollitt says, what do you think of Jaiswal's stance? I haven't really seen it yet. I'll have a look. Mox says, hey, I'm a lead singer and I hate coke. It's all about heroin. Sweet, sweet Lady H.
Well, it's one or the other. Or both,
Not at the same time. Jaiswal, they showed him he was crouching very low to the spin, standing upright to the pace.
Well, Sanju Sampson has done what Butler was trying to do. He's come down the track. It is Krunel bowling instead of Giant, though. Left arm. It's not going to turn as much Chahar, and he gets to the pitch of the ball and lamps it towards long on. Doesn't quite get to over the boundary. Bounces about a yard inside. And very high up in the air. But it is going to be another boundary. And he's 9 off 3 balls. Good start. Krunal Pandya around the wickets to Sanju Samson, who just works it off his hip down to the man on the 45, gets himself a single and off strike.
Leia sends us the quote, I spent half my money on drugs, women and cars, the other half
Wasted the rest.
pissed away.
Yeah. Chahar was very happy getting Butler out. And rightly so. Good score though, 41's reasonable I suppose, but you kind of feel he was just in the swing of it. Jaiswal just clips that off his pads, it's full. Very quick by Krunal Pandya, 101 Ks for a spinner. It's just flat darts, and it's clipped down to wide, long on for a single. This is why I say to Jack, I can do that. I can bowl flat darts at the right length. I could get hit for 10 and over in the IPL. I reckon I could go for between 40 and 50.
Yeah, but our flat darts are 80, not 100.
I still think I've got the nous to be able to do it.
Okay, get down to the trials next year.
Put myself in the auction.
Yeah, put yourself in the auction, yeah.
Clip it to mid-wicket, and it's a single. 50-year-old fat Englishman. Who's he? You never know, someone might pick me up on a on a base price. What's that, 58k or something?
Don't know if you don't try.
That is true. Around the wicket, clipped. Full bunger by Krunal. Clipped by Jaiswal out to deep mid-wicket once more. Gets another single, 79 for 1, 8.5 overs.
I've just had another idea for the 100. Each team has to pick a random lower order amateur cricketer who plays club cricket for their team in the 100.
That'd be interesting.
No, it wouldn't.
It would.
It would.
No, it wouldn't, because they just stick him at 11 and slip.
No, he has to bowl.
No, they have to. He has to play. He has to bowl or something.
I doubt you could have him as a batsman. That
pile.
one doesn't sit up this time. It's short and flat again by Krunal Pandya. I think Samson thought it might get up a little bit higher, but it didn't. But he still connected with it and hit it dead square pretty hard, and it went all the way to the boundary for 4 more.
Talking of pretty hard, that person would probably get injured as soon as the ball came anywhere near him.
Yeah.
And you get people who say, oh, if I played up front in the Premiership, I'd score 4 goals a season just from tap-ins. No, you wouldn't. You would never touch the ball. It would just ping past you like it was a pinball.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Different. I played 9 holes with Simon Khan, professional golfer. Won the PGA at Wentworth, and it was just gobsmacking.
It's not the same game.
No, I didn't know. I was just totally flummoxed by the timing, the way he hit the ball.
And in golf, you're not in any physical danger.
No.
You don't have that element.
No, exactly. No, as long as they put me out in the outfield, but they'd always get 2 to me as well.
3.
Maybe. If they hit it wide of me, they may well get 3. Right, I'm going over 186 and a half. Am I? Really?
Are you?
I don't know.
Am I?
No, don't bet.
No, I'm going under that, actually. No. Pulled it out. Jaiswal cuts it out to point. And there will be a single.
Mrs. Luigi Magpie is telling us about Rudy Giuliani. He's the feds raided his office.
Have they?
Yeah, potential crimes like being an undeclared agent of Ukraine, apparently.
Nice. Some of these fuckers have really got to go down. Mind you, a couple of them did go down.
It's getting a bit lower tier, but Matt Gates, I mean, is how he's not already in prison.
Well, exactly. Nicely, just block driven on the front foot defensive shot by Sanju Samson up to long off, and there is a single.
Well, Jersey Oak points out, doesn't Bono avoid tax because artists in Ireland don't get taxed? There was a thing where artists, you didn't pay tax in Ireland if you were a musician or an artist at one point. I don't know if it's still the case.
Until you two made shitloads of money.
I think that got
which is
reversed. People.
There's a lot of low tax in Ireland. That's why all the tech firms are there.
Well, exactly. But they're being sued by the EU, aren't they? Well, Jaiswal has gone under that one from Chahar. It's gone way, 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 way up in the sky, but also just long enough to get over the boundary, and it will be 6 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
says.
The old short boundaries. Didn't hit that perfectly as it went quite vertiginous. In fact, it was a toe end.
A little bit.
But he just about got enough of it.
Nearly tripped over and smashed his head into the screen.
Completely pointlessly.
Yeah, Chahar in once again. Jarswell goes back on his stumps, clips it into the leg side. There's a mid-wicket in though. He stops it. They won't get a single this time. It's a dot ball.
Warren wants to know, was it stud on Joss's helmet?
No, it's stewed or something. Oh, that's out. Leading edge. Jarswell has gone to turn that into the leg side. He's got a leading edge that's just ballooned back to Chahar. He catches it head height to him. So it's a nicely timed leading edge, but a leading edge nonetheless. And Rajasthan lose their second wicket.
Layer getting into the amateur playing in the 100. Imagine some lobster red fat bloke from Stoke wearing an ice hockey goalie helmet taking Rashid to the cleaners to the tune of 36 runs or 6 deliveries. Would be good for a laugh.
It would.
Yeah, it would be.
Again.
It won't happen.
No,
they're not listening to me, the 100. I've come up with a couple of ideas and
Are you sure?
Anyway,
listening to someone.
Yeah.
Actually.
Ah well. Rajasthan now 91 for 2 after 9.5.
It's good from Jarswell. 32 off 20. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Nope. The next man in is gonna be Dubey, as we found out the other day.
You wish him Dubey, treat the bowlers roughly. He's got the skills you need and he's right buff really. He's hitting sixes, not making duck eggs. So take this guy on if you feel like getting clubbed.
He's not done too well when I've seen him. His first ball is a top spinner from Chahar, which he just defends out to cover. There is no run as the man is just inside the circle. And that ends the 10th over, I presume. Have we had the? Oh, we have had the Woodstock timeout already, haven't we, for this bit?
Yeah. Mog says, I think there was a grade cricketer who got some games in the first few BBLs and made actual hundreds in the process.
Oh, was it Craig? Someone, I think. I think I remember the guy. Yeah.
What's the grade cricket in Australia equivalent to then? Is that
first team club cricket? But you know, it can be very good.
Yeah, I was going to say,
close to county second team standard. Yeah.
Well, when I was a member of World's Tennis Club, I remember the cricket club there had bloody. They had one of the Wars play, and then they had who's the big fella with the moustache? I've forgotten his name.
Murph Hughes.
Yeah, Murph Hughes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same. I mean, when I was growing up,
in half.
I think Angus Fraser and Simon Hughes, or his brother as well, played for Stanmore Cricket Club.
Sure, I mean, clubs can get 11. Pros if they want to pay them.
Yeah, exactly. First 11s can, anyway, yeah. Certainly in Surrey League as well. That's nicely clipped by Sampson, up to long on. Kyron Pollard is fielding. He'll just get a single. As Coulton Isles back on. Went for 13 in his first over. Who's that?
I think...
I have no idea.
I think he's Australian, looking at the crow's feet around his eyes. Antipodean. Been squinting too much in the sun. Shane Bond.
Shane Bond, okay.
Shane Bond. These guys get a good gig, don't
they? They do, and they get everywhere
it's not
as well.
bad, yeah.
It's the gravy train for ex-pros, isn't it?
Yeah, finished bottom of the league. Yeah, come back next year.
Exactly.
Craig Simmons was the great cricketer.
That's the one. Yep.
Well, Coulton Isle is in to bowl to Dubey, second ball, and he plays it square on the offside. I think it's a Pandya. Can't see if it's Croonall or Hardick at point, and there is no run.
Leia points out that the ECB are not listening to me on the subject of the 100, and it's a shame, but at least they're not also listening to KP.
What's KP spouting? I imagine so.
Oh, he wants a 12, doesn't he, for 100 metres?
Oh, that's right,
six.
yes. Well, good old
That's
KP.
the only thing I think I've got in common with KP.
Dubey is facing up to his third ball. Coulton Isle bowls it across him, and again, it's pretty full. He tries to cut it. It's probably too close and a bit too full for that, and hits it into the ground. Point comes in, fields, and there is no run. 92 for 2 after 10.3. Yeah,
It's a nice gig these guys get, isn't it?
absolutely. They do get a nice gig. They go around and around the world to nice places. Talk bollocks for however long the competition is. No, I doubt anyone really assesses them because most people just actually know what they're doing. Maybe they come up with a few new balls here, have a nice time, get paid a shitload of money and move on to the next one. I guess if you can be away from home, that's cool. On the back foot, Duvet defends back to Coultonal this time, trying to work it into the leg side, doesn't really get hold of it.
Not a good time for some. Well, this never is, but a good time for someone to go in straight away, get naught off floor. You know, they've only got 9 overs left. There's a throwing paper at Shane Bond, and I'm finding that quite amusing.
I've seen him a couple of times in this competition. He's not really done a lot so far.
He was one of the players they really wanted to get for some reason.
Coultonal is in, stands on a crease, drives out to cover, wants a single to get off the mark, but it's not really there, and gets sent back, and there isn't a run. And the score remains on 92 for 2. Good over this from Coultonal. Come back over. 5
It
dots
is.
and a single.
I say Royals in danger of a bit of a slowdown, a little bit of a few wasted balls here.
As long as you pick it back up.
Yeah, but you know, you say that, but then you could score 4 runs off these 4 balls and then pick it back up. You know, your 6 runs off these balls are gone.
Yeah. That's just dropped into the leg side, and Duvet doesn't get a single. It's another dot. It's a really good over by Coultonal. And
I mean, this is a mindset. This is an amateur cricket mindset. It's one in the team that I'm running this year. I'm really trying to get rid of. Oh, someone else will do it. Oh, we'll catch up later. Oh, it'll happen at some other time. No, it's your job to do it now.
Yeah, that's true, but you can't take away from the bowler's bowling at a new batsman, and it's fair enough to say that the batsman has to, score a run, but the bowler also, the bowler's also thinking.
In the IPL, you should not be 0 off 6. You should be good enough against any bowler with all the gaps in the field to pick up, 4 or 5 runs off those first 6 balls.
Yeah, but the fact is there are a certain amount of dots in every game, and every batsman, whilst you would like to be able to do that, if the bowler bowls it in a spot that you can't work it away to somewhere else, then that's good bowling. You can't just...
Well, it is good bowling, yeah, but,
Chahar is in, and...
I don't think you should make excuses for it.
I'm not making excuses. Chahar comes back and cuts that out to the man sweeping on the cover boundary, who comes in. Thinks you dab out there, and it's a single.
Well, back on strike now to the spinner. See what he does.
No, sorry, it's Kumar out there. Indeed. And maybe his confidence isn't up, and that's what I mean. He's not really done a lot. Maybe he feels his place is threatened, and that doesn't always lead to a clear mind, does it?
Absolutely. But that's part of this. What these
exactly. But he swings at that. It's pretty agricultural, and he gets his 4 runs. As it goes wide of long on. It was a pretty agricultural shot, but the desired effect was 4.
2 + 2 is our man. 2 + 2 is our man.
But that's also a dynamic that plays at every level of cricket in the world. The tension between what's best for the team and what's best for me to keep my place. A team where everybody just goes and plays the team and don't worry about their place is going to do so much better, but it's really hard to get going.
Yeah, but I think of my club side, and there wasn't competition for places because we were struggling to get 11 people out. So then you just have the dynamic. I just want to. I want to.
People just do what they like.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to day out on a Saturday. I want to enjoy my cricket. That one's clipped out by Duvet to deep mid wicket. It's a nicer shot, nicely timed, but it's only a single.
Well, again, not to tell too many tales out of school, but that's almost where I am with the over 50s team I'm running this year. We finished bottom of the league 2 years ago, and that's how it was. We were too stretched. We didn't have enough players. We were just trying to get 11 out every week. People did just see it as a day out. And I'll bat how I like because I'm not going to be replaced.
Yeah, exactly. Chahar bowls to Sampson, who can't do anything with that and just plays it back down the track to him, and there's no run.
But this year we've got a whole bunch of new players, and I think I'm going to have some difficult conversations with people.
Ooh, that's interesting.
It is. It will be. It will be. But I just have to say, it's my job to make this team better. And how do I make this team better in your position? 2 options.
Well, decent ball by Chahar, full and dipping, and Sampson can only drive it up to long off. He'll get himself a single. I think it's Coultonal down there.
Yeah, 2 options. 1, you get better, or 2, I replace you. So if you're not getting better, I'm stuck with 2. A lot of people want the team to be better.
Yes.
Around them, without them having to do anything.
Yeah, well, that comes down to, again, I guess when you're 50, this is the problem with over 50s, isn't it? I want to carry on playing cricket, and I find a nice level, and exactly, I was quite good when I was young, and
yeah, there's a lot of that. Yep.
I just want to enjoy myself. That's cut up to long off the back foot by Dubé, get himself a single. Karen Pollard fields a single. I mean, that's eventually why I gave up, precisely partly because I didn't feel I could be competitive enough. I don't like playing non-competitive cricket, but then
totally understandable, and I'm not probably never going to play Saturday cricket again because the level at which I would play is just too bad and too disorganised.
And it got to the point, exactly that, and I felt that I wasn't putting my all into it either. I wasn't that bothered.
Yeah, you won't. It'll be a vicious circle. Yes.
And then eventually I stopped playing for 4 weeks in one season, and when I came around to the next season, I couldn't be arsed.
Yeah.
Farong tells us in Australia, first class Victoria, then district, then sub-district. Haynes and Greenwich both played district cricket, and surprisingly Marshall played sub-district. Can remember it well as I was playing in those comps during the 80s.
God, you wouldn't
want to coming up against him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
sub-district,
right.
he wouldn't be happy. That's a... Oh, is that out? No. It was a good shot by Doobie. Timed it really well, but didn't get enough elevation on it, and it was struck down to Trent Bolt and long off. Well, I thought he'd come in and caught it, but the camera work wasn't really up with him. He must have stopped it virtually on a half volley, in which case it's a bloody good shot, coming at pace and dipping on him. It was an off cutter by, I think it's Coultonar's continuing, and
he's dropped it.
He's dropped it, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't.
Well, he didn't really go forward.
He didn't really go forward. He suddenly thought about his small mouth and his teeth. It's not a big target, Trent.
Should be easier, yeah.
Coultonar into the pitch, mistimed by Sampson. Does pull it around to long leg, though. Realises probably that he wasn't on it, and kind of pulled out the shot a bit, taking the pace off it. Dropped short of the man down there, and it'll be a single.
Warren wonders if Andy drives like he wants T20 batting performed. If so, how many points are on his licence?
I had a speeding course last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
I've done that. I've had 2. I've got 9 points on my licence at the moment.
Eesh.
I'm not happy.
Yeah, well, at least
about
this
it,
one was online, but honest to God, they're so patronising. It took 3 hours, could have been done in 40 minutes.
Exactly. Oh, it is. It's fucking irritating. And the last one I went on, of course, was pre all this nonsense about the movable lanes.
Shot.
Yeah, really good shot. Full ball by Dubé. To Dubé by Coultonar on his off stump. It doesn't really move his feet, but plays through the line and drives it wide of extra cover out to the boundary for 4 runs.
That went like a tracer bullet.
You know, the movable hard shoulder, and everyone in the room's going, it's a really shit thing because you're bound to kill people in in the interchangeable hard shoulder lane. And of course, a year later, the papers are all over it, and they're thinking about scrapping it because, funnily enough, people get killed in the removable hard shoulder because some people just ignore the red cross and drive down it and smash into the back of cars. That's cut by Dubé, but only out to the man sweeping on the cover boundary. It'll just be the 1 run.
Jersey Oak wonders if it's we need to discuss the need for scorers, umpires and sandwich makers.
It's an issue. It's an issue this year because you can't car share, and scorers are usually 1 million years old, so they don't drive.
Do you have to have independent umpire scorers and all that stuff there? I presume you can't have number 11
well,
umpiring
we're making allowances this year, as in if umpires can't travel, the home side can provide 2 umpires. The standard of umpiring is generally good, to be fair.
Into the hip of Sampson, who doesn't get all of it. I'm not sure it came off anything but thigh pad. We'll have a look at the umpire. Doesn't seem to be intimating anything than maybe an under edge into thigh pad from Sampson. Gets himself a single down to long fine leg. 108 for 2 Rajasthan are after 12.5 overs. 1 more over for me, and then I shall be off for this innings. I'm getting lots of messages coming through. I'm ignoring them, but it's annoying me. They're pinging away in the background. And 7 overs left. 70 gets them to...
Yeah, 180.
180, that's 10 and over. Coultonar is up to the crease now. Bowled, pulled. Is that time? Not particularly well, but it doesn't make it out to the man at Cow Corner, who's rushing in from the boundary. It bounces about 3 or 4 yards in front of him. He'll only get a single. Not a lot of timing from Dubé, but he's getting a run of ball. Sampson's 21 off 13. He's looking dangerous. And
well, they've got plenty more batting. Who else do they have to come in? Perhaps that's something I should know.
I can look down the jingle cart and tell you. Ryan Parag isn't playing.
That's the most official source.
Well, they've got Chris Morris.
Yes, he could certainly be pushed up the order.
Mustafa's playing today.
Oh, David Miller and Tuatia.
There you go.
Parag and Morris.
So yeah, Tuatia, Morris, and Miller. You fancy can certainly hit a long ball, whether they do or not. It's obviously the question. Chahar's going to bowl himself out or get bowled out by Rohit. He's got 2 for 29 off his 3 overs so far.
And Rohit missed a game or two as Pollard was captain.
He went off a couple of times. He'd started as captain and had gone off, and Pollard was directing things out in the field. There's a man out at deep mid wicket, and there's a man out at Cow. I presume there's a long on too. There's a guy on the 45 at third man.
Or their squad have gone.
Well, yeah, a lot of them have gone.
Livingston, Archer, Stokes, Ty.
Yep, that's leg side from Chahar. Pitches drops late, and Dubé can only hit it out to Cow Corner along the deck. Not particularly well timed, but he'll get himself a single.
Livingston, Stokes and Archer, for various reasons. I don't think England need them at the moment.
No, well, they have plenty of time to recover.
2 injuries, isn't it? Stokes and Archer injured.
Stokes,
yes.
Yeah, they both had operations. And
Livingston lost the plot in the bubble.
Yeah. Which is
really?
Ty,
yeah, well, I mean, I don't
Ty had family thing, yeah.
Yeah. That's clipped into the leg side out towards deep wide line. There's a fielder out there for Sanju Sampson. It'll only be a single.
Was that the official reason? So on the team list, Stokes injured, Livingston lost the plot.
Yeah. Well, I think he'd been in a bubble, hadn't he? He'd been with England for quite a while as well, and he hadn't played any games.
Without playing very much, yeah.
Exactly. Well,
Stokes broke his finger fielding, didn't he?
Yeah.
In one of the matches.
So. Yeah.
He should be back.
Archer's had this injury problem with his elbow.
Yeah, that worries me. I want them to get that fixed. Just for me, not for Archer, obviously. That one's a top spinner by Chahar, goes across and carries on going past Dubé, who goes back.
Well, maybe England shouldn't bowl him 35 overs in innings in Test matches.
Well, this is true.
That trumps everything in the world.
Well, they'll need him in Australia.
As does that, speaking of what trumps everything in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. It does, though. Shut up, Andy. On the back foot,
that exciting series that's only been won once by the away team in 20 years. Gosh, who is going to win?
Yes, 1 run. Well, there's always the belief. You've got to have the belief going in, Andy. It's only after the first test that you completely lose. They're beatable.
Not in Australia, not by us.
I don't know. India beat them last year. They look a bit.
We're not India.
Yeah, I know we're not India, but we've got a bowling attack very similar. I think we've got a better bowling attack than India, I'd say. Maybe not so in those conditions. I mean, most of theirs are a bit faster. That's full and hits attempted wallop out the ground by Sampson, but gets a bit of an inside edge toe end that goes out to Cow with a couple of bounces, and only be the 1 run. He's practicing a big swing. 1 ball left in the 14th over. My last ball, and then it'll be a switcheroo.
113 for 2, 6 overs left, and that's 180 is now looking a bit more like 170.
Yeah, what it is. They need a big over, and that'll put it back up again. Chahar's last ball goes across.
It's all bold.
It's 6s and 7s there, shapes up for a shot, realises it's going straight on, pulls out of the shot, and it's a dot ball through to the keeper. I'm going to leave you with a Woodstock timeout as Hendo is going to join. Who are you joining, Hendo?
I'm joining Andy, who's moving on to ball by ball, and Messi Jez has arrived
hey,
all the way from Western Australia.
Evening all. How are you?
Or morning, or dusk, or dawn. To you, whatever it is.
It's Well, speaking of different times of day, it's really nice to see cricket played in daylight again. I gotta say,
Yeah, I do agree.
something about it.
It'll never catch on.
Andy, while you're here, can I ask you? Can you do the second game on Sunday?
I can barely do the first one, mate. I just said to Knackle, can I have a late start on Sunday? I can't do both, no.
Oh, okay. I think I had you down for the second rather than the first. Is that all right? Would that be all right?
Actually, second rather than the first would be all right, yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you can
Jolly
work
good.
that.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I will. I'll work it. All right. Over to you.
Well, I don't know a lot about this Woodstock timeout business, so I'll just tell you that we can support us directly at www.patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket 1R 2Ls, and you can send us anything from, I think, $1 or $2 a month up to $10 a month to get on our Wall of Fame on Facebook. You can make one-off payments to Patreon or PayPal, and you can still subscribe to our archive at £20 a year. All the jingles, lots of past commentary of famous games and famous bits of commentary.
And lots of political views as well, I think, during all that time.
Yes, are those on the archive?
I'm sure there will be. They've not been edited out.
Well, I noticed that Leah has come back at Andy, what I regard as Andy's realistic assessment of England's chances in the Ashes later this year, by saying, reminder that India won their last series down under with their C team, which is true.
Yeah, it is true.
But the truth is, Australia will win by cheating if necessary.
You've got to factor that in. You have to factor that in.
We'd hope for nothing less.
Probably Smith captain again.
I think England have really got their work cut out to do well in the Ashes. I don't go along with what Bear says, that we've got a better bowling attack by any stretch of the imagination. We don't know how the likes of Anderson and Broad might perform. They're not going to bowl teams out. I don't think they might be quite economical, and they might pick up important wickets here and there. But you need some of the other guys to come through. You need your Mark Woods and your Ollie Robinsons and your Oliver Stones. Don't Oliver Stones? It's not Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone.
I like Oliver Stone.
That would be an interesting draw card for the Ashes.
Absolutely. And funnily enough, in Australia I saw that awful Ollie Stone film. What was it called? Something about Natural Born Killers. Oh, what an awful film that was.
It's not that one.
No.
I know the one you mean. It's not Natural Born Killers. That's completely different.
That was an Oliver Stone film, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to look it up now.
Wasn't that a
geez, I'm confusing. No, yes it was. Sorry, I'm getting confused as usual. Anyway, it's going to be a change of bowling. Jahar has finished, so this might give the Royals an opportunity. It's going to be Giant, I think, coming in wide of the crease, and that's clipped up to long on. It will be a single. Pollard with the fielding. It is Giant with the bowling. 114 for 2 with 6 overs to go, less 1 ball.
And Bob points out that he thinks Oliver Stone was more of a batsman than a bowler.
Well, it was a choice between that and Pulp Fiction in Brisbane, which, I mean, Brisbane is pretty much like a day in Pulp Fiction anyway.
Bris Vegas, yeah.
Bris Vegas, yeah. Yeah. I came out traumatised, even more traumatised than seeing England lose in 4 days.
Even more traumatising when you saw Pulp Fiction. Giant came in, clubbed away into the gap. It might even be 6. You think he's got a flat one for 6? He has, Dubé. Oh, we haven't got jingles at the moment, sorry.
Well, the bear's disappeared.
120 for 2.
Just look at that empty seat.
6.
Dragged down a little bit short and picked up very nicely over wide mid on.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with Jai as well today. I thought he batted quite nicely and looked good off the back foot and got a couple of 6s in the end, I think. He was just beginning to look good when he got out.
As often happens. Giant round the wicket, and that's wide, and it surely is going to be signalled wide. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it was left alone by the batsman, and I thought, for a moment, the umpire wasn't going to give it.
I saw him doing that to Joss Butler, the right-hander, earlier on, bowling very, very wide. It worked once when Butler stepped away. It's wide-ish, it's cut away, out towards deep extra cover. He might put that in the gap as well. No, actually, it's straight to Hardik Pandya. That'll be a single. Haven't seen him bowling yet today. May not be required.
Hasn't been bowling, has he, in this tournament, Hardik? I think they're still worried about an injury flaring up, and so they haven't. In that sense, he hasn't done a hell of a lot in the tournament in general. He hasn't really batted particularly well.
Steps away, Sampson, but bowler follows in a little bit, and he can just club a full toss up to Pollard at long on. Nonetheless, 10 off this over with 2 balls to go. It's a good one for the Royals so far. And Giant, none for 34 in the third. Not his best day so far.
Pretty expensive, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
Going short to Butler, which you really can't afford to do at that pace. That's full, and it's carved into the leg side. He might have found the gap. Not quite. A little bit of a fumble from Bolt, but they'll still just get the 1.
Yeah, there were 3 overs bowled. I think it was by Jagadishi yesterday, Sachith, who went for 45 off 3 against Chennai. So he's looking like he's going to be a little bit less expensive than that.
You'll hope so.
Is the bear back yet? No, he's not. No. Is anyone hearing any audience noise? Here he is. Bear, can we have some audience noise?
Giant comes in to complete the over, but no, because it's one of those offside wides again.
That was very, very wide.
It was. That's not really testing the sideline. That's well outside it. So I have to bowl this one again. And that one's speared into the pads, almost to Yorker. Sampson gets it up to mid-wicket. And Hardik takes an age to throw it in, but they'd agreed 1 anyway. End of the over, 126 for 2, 5 overs to go in this innings.
Messi.
So, Spinner Grace in Canberra responds to a tweet of Moggs from some time ago about a great cricketer who got some games in the first few BBLs and made some actual hundreds in the process, and said his name was Craig Simmons, which Mog confirms is the right name. I wasn't here for that conversation. And apart from that, we seem to be up to date on Twitter. A couple of shout outs on Facebook. Prakash Kumar, Niaz Lakho, Ashish Bodia, and Govanda Siag. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for being with us on Crick Tracker India.
Hendo, you were talking earlier about some Twitter thing that sports organisations were going to boycott it. Is that because they want more censorship on Twitter?
They are boycotting in protest at the amount of abuse on Twitter.
So yes, that is what they're doing. Yes,
effectively.
Sorry, I speak with a degree of bitterness as someone who was banned for 2 months on Twitter just for a joke taken out of context.
Yeah, well, that's the way it seems to be.
We might reach the boundary. No, not quite. The fielder is around, but they will get 2.
Well, this is the thing with Twitter, isn't it? That it's and Facebook is they ban the wrong people every now and again. They think
they just don't. They would need 10,000 people working round the clock to actually do it manually. So it's a task that can't really be done. I mean, no, you can ban certain words, and I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, you can.
I think you can probably
turn it off. Up to long on, and got all of that, Sampson. Well, not all of it as in 6, but certainly all of it as in 1 bounce 4 that the fielder couldn't cut off.
1, 2, 3, bounce!
Attempted Yorker from Bolt, but didn't get it right. Turned into what one of my teammates used to call a high Yorker. In normal cricket parlance, a full toss. And it's a 1 bounce 4.
Yorker, yes.
I take it he was a bowler, Andy.
He certainly was. I bowled him a high Yorker. Right, mate, that full toss. Slower ball from Bolt, and Sampson carves at it, and it flies past third man for another 4.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Sampson doing his best to get the impetus into this innings. He's got 36 off 21. He's held that back a little bit, Bolt, and a moral victory for him, but that outside edge flies through the slip area. Nothing anyone can do to stop it.
I understand what you're saying about Twitter in regards to, you'd need hundreds of people, thousands of people to actually stop this in its tracks, but you can ban people quite easily, I'd imagine.
Well, out to crew now for a single, but you'd need tens of thousands of people to do that as well, without being in a situation that I was in, where I was banned by a bot, and it was 2 months before I got back on.
Yeah. Well, I guess a bot isn't the right thing, but then people would cost them.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the strikes we've had on YouTube, which have all been generated by bots of some sort.
Yes, again, because there's, I don't know what it's up to now. There's hours and hours of footage uploaded to YouTube every second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it would, but I mean, I suppose maybe you could take some of the worst off. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
To grow a thick skin.
Well,
pushed past mid-on for a single. I have to say, I'm not really sure what anyone who's in the public eye has to gain from being on social media.
I agree with you
It's
on
a
that.
really-
I must admit. Yeah.
It's a really interesting question. I mean, I think some use it as a means of promotion, but I think the truth is that if you actually look at your responses, then you're asking for trouble. I think you just have to put it there and run.
I think that's what they do. I think that's what they do. Most big names. I'm sure they don't look at replies.
They shouldn't do. Carved away out into the leg side. The fielder is round. A little bit of bobble, but picks it up to get back for 2. I heard about Gary Lineker the other day. He was saying everything he tweets, he types it in, he reads it through, he reads it through again, he reads it through again. He thinks, is there anyone in the world who could possibly take offence at this? And if he's not 100% sure, he deletes it.
Well, the thing is, I mean, just by being Gary Lineker, I mean, Arsenal fans are going to hate him, aren't they? So I mean, that's pretty much it, really. You're always going to offend someone just by being him.
He's not going to be sacked for just because for an Arsenal fans campaign, but he might be sacked just by saying the wrong thing.
True.
Sometimes taken out of context, and
I think that's a pretty smart way of doing it.
It's the second smartest compared to not being on it at all. Yes.
Yeah. So,
but to be fair, he does a lot of good on Twitter, actually, Gary Lineker, and tweets some good things.
Yeah. Our wonderful statsman in Dhaka, Farong, says, bad days, hey? Will Sri Lanka get to 300 before stumps? 9 overs remaining, currently 1 for 263. And Leah says, I think the point is to protest Twitter or YouTube still giving a platform to someone out of the worst, to some of the worst scum.
Well, who decides who's the scum? That's your problem in a nutshell. Bumrah is back into the attack. He's going to come around the wicket and he fires it into the legs of Dubé, and he gets turned around back to the bowler, and there's no run.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I'll see a horrendously right-wing politician on Newsnight, and I will then fire off in a sort of sense of fury that probably lasts about half an hour. I mean, should I be banned for attacking politicians? I don't know.
No, I think I would advise you not to watch Newsnight.
Yes.
That's only advice. Bumrah, his intentions are clear enough. Another Yorker fired into the pads. Dubé manages to clip it up to long on for a single.
50 partnership, 41 balls as well.
Yeah. Dubé 25 off 23. Has found it a bit difficult.
Yeah, I mean, Samson's going at a really reasonable rate, isn't he? 39, is it, off 24?
They're rolling in on 180, which should make for an interesting chase.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, with just 2 wickets down, they can afford to take a lot of risks too.
Yeah, well, you'd think so, yeah.
Yeah,
they got Miller and Morris to come.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Would you put Morris up? You'd put Morris up.
I
wouldn't you? Although you've got Twatty, I mean,
probably
Twatty can hit.
Put them ahead of Miller, who's just as good.
Yeah.
That one's clipped down to short third man. They all shout at the fielder to, I think half of them were shouting at him to throw it, half of them shouted at him to hold it. The result is a single.
Always like good communication from your team. I think that's important.
That's always the classic lower level club cricket. Someone picks up the ball and everybody is shouting to throw it at this end, at that end, to hold it. I don't know what they think they're trying to achieve.
It's the excitement. It's the excitement of cricket. I mean, you can stand around in the field and not get a wicket for hours, can't you? Let's be honest. So if something does
absolutely,
happen, we've all been there.
Bumrah with his never changed his jerky run up, and perhaps he never should, because it's another effective Yorker squeezed out for a leg by. 143 for 2. 20 balls left in this innings. Is that right? Yep.
Yeah, I was quite surprised yesterday watching Sunrisers how Kane Williamson came in really late, and he and I'm trying to think who was batting with at the time. I've forgotten already. Managed to get 44 off the last 3 overs, but he doesn't hit the ball hard, but his placement is unbelievable. Unbelievably
magic
good
to watch, wasn't he?
Yeah.
After Warner had been struggling for so long.
Yeah.
Again, there's no deception about Bumrah. His field's set for the Yorker. He bowls the Yorker. It's clipped out to deep cover, and it'd be another single. It's really a case of, you know what I'm going to bowl, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. He's a great Yorker bowler. I keep saying to people that, people who always say, why don't they bowl more Yorkers? It's a bloody hard ball to bowl.
Very small margin of error, yeah.
Exactly. So, we talk about the Yorker and then we talk about the full toss. And the margin of error between Yorker and full toss is marginal.
Yeah, minimal.
Minimal even, yeah.
But he gets his lines right as well, Bumrah, and he's got an awkward angle that comes at you. Just helps to stop the batsman getting under the ball.
And I've always said that with bowlers who don't have a very long run-up but do release quite quickly, it's hard for a batsman to get their rhythm. It doesn't feel quite right.
Yes.
If someone comes off a very short run as a batsman, if he comes off a massive run, you know he's going to be quick, and something within your body adapts to that.
Except when they come up from a massive run and then slow down as they reach the wicket and then bowl normal medium pace, which I always found very annoying.
Yes.
That is a little bit more like a full toss. Almost didn't pick that up, but Bolt at short third man, but he did get a hand on it. And that's perhaps one the batsman could have got away for 4. There's only one. Bumrah, 3 overs, none for 11. I'm sure we'll see one more from him. 3 to go, 145 for 2.
That's pretty good stuff. So Warren says, the things I've learned from social media, number 1, we are not as evolved as I thought we were. David Barrett, g'day David, how's men with Van going? Yes, Guerrilla Cricket, you should be banned from all platforms forever.
Yep, I think that's probably fair enough.
Yeah, and Josie Oak, there's a lot to be said for stepping away from the keyboard when incensed, drunk, or both, which will keep some of us off it for most of the time.
Yep, that's also true. Yep.
And Warren says, didn't Bumrah just change his run-up? I didn't notice that, did you?
I didn't notice it. No, I didn't.
I think so. It looks much the same as ever.
I do think that the idea, actually, talking of being drunk and incensed, or both, while on Twitter, I mean, Father Jack would be great, wouldn't he?
I'm sure there are plenty of Father Jack accounts. It wouldn't be that difficult to put one together, would it? That one's clipped up to long on for a single. Dubé shakes his head, as befits a man with 27 off 25. The team's only 2 wickets down. I think you're not the only one shaking his head.
Tell you what, I would have thought I was absolutely blasting it around the field if I'd got 27 off 25.
Yeah, I know. We've got a graphic that rather ironically says Dubé footwork, and we're seeing his foot mired in cement.
Yeah.
At the crease.
I mean, the best player of the footless pickup has to be Rishabh Pant, doesn't it? He literally
Chris
he
Gale?
turns it into a strength, or maybe Chris Gale, perhaps, yeah. But there's a particular whip away now that Rishabh seems to have invented, which involves absolutely no foot movement.
Bolt is the bowler. He hits full on the pad. It's all a bit leg sidey, so they just jog through for a leg by.
There's a sense of a lack of urgency for me, given that, as you say, there's only 16 balls left now, and this is the time you'd expect them to be looking to actually score at a hell of a rate for the last couple of overs.
Well, it's almost 2 wickets or 4 wickets is almost the same now, really. They certainly should be. Dubé in particular does swing that one away. Has he found a gap? I don't think so. Fielder is there. Do they get 2? Nope, just the one.
Yeah, I think. I mean, again, if you are actually bowling really good Yorkers, then it's hard to swing those sort of deliveries over the boundary. I mean,
it is unless you've
going
actually
back deep into the crease, haven't you?
Got the chops to play some ramp shots and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose what you've got to do is try and put them off their length completely. So whether that means
walk down the
around.
track as well. Yeah.
Easier said than done.
But most certainly. Well, the Bolt hasn't been that economical. 30 with 3 balls left in his spell. Maybe he gets away for 35. It's not so bad.
Yeah, they've got to get 170 minimum here, haven't they?
Did Butler get hold of the bowls a bit earlier on?
I think he had one. Sampson is dethroned. That was a cracking middle stump Yorker from Trent Bolt. He certainly got that one right. Sampson tried to whip it away, went under the toe of his bat and uprooted the middle stump. So finally some joy from Trent Bolt. He's not going to go wicketless today.
Well, I mean, that's almost unplayable, I would say.
That's nice, yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, I've seen him bowl Yorkers and get people out LBW in this tournament already. I mean, he's brilliant at the back end. He's not quite so dangerous at the top, I don't think. But he's bowled a few of these last 2 or 3 overs spells, which have been great to watch. And deserves the wicket, absolutely. David Miller coming to the crease. Bear, new batsman at the crease.
Is it
coming?
Can't hear anything.
Oh, well.
Okay, well, anyway, 42.
Here we go.
No, here it is, obviously. Just a nice start.
Next is a real life wife. David Miller, qu'est-ce que c'est? Ça fait fa. He will bat left, go right, and score runs all day. Oh. David Miller, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Bolt is into Miller, he clips it into the leg side, be a single. Well, it's off and away for the specialist hitter in T20. He only gets 2 overs to bat, but still gets paid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now, would you think, now that you've got Miller out there, Andy, if another wicket goes down, if you were to lose Dubé, would you bring Morris in at this point?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Without question. Yeah. Without question. No particular disrespect to Atia or Parag, but Morris is going to be better in this situation.
But Dubé needs to get a few hits in as well.
He needs to hit out or get out. Yep, here he is. He does hit out. That may be at 6 to silence us, actually. It is. Well done.
It is. Talk about on cue.
Yep.
The number of the day really hops and kicks. The number of the day is 666.
Yeah, that was a really good shot, actually. Tremendous
It
shot
was.
down the ground.
Bolt didn't quite get the Yorker right that time, and especially if the batsman's expecting a Yorker, and if you just turn it into a half volley, that can certainly happen.
Indeed.
It's the end of the over, it's the end of Bolt for today. He's 1 for 37 off his 4. And we're certainly going to see Bumrah for one of these overs. I'm not sure if it's this one.
So the mention of Father Jack's drawn some response. Nestler says, I've done a Father Jack to various tours and been banned twice. It's also pointless. All I do now is retweet cat videos. And Josie Oak says, Father Jack could be a member of the current government and be the normal one.
Absolutely. Good point.
He wouldn't spend so much on furnishings, that's for sure. Spend it all on drink. Bumrah is going to come in. 3 overs, none for 11. Economical as ever. See what David Miller can do about that. Bumrah over the wicket to the left-hander. It's a bit too full, and Miller clips into the leg side. It will just be a single. Hardick again has a habit of running in miles with the ball instead of throwing it. That's what I do, but that's because I can't throw the ball.
Oh, well, actually, that's a good point. I mean, isn't it a shoulder problem that he's got,
Maybe.
which is why? But then again, you'd wonder why he's in the deep then, wouldn't you? I mean, apart from the fact that he's a brilliant fielder.
Good catcher, yes.
Yeah.
That 6 brought a riposte from Mogg saying, well, Dubé fucking showed you pricks.
He did. Bumrah's round the wickets to Dubé, clips it back to the bowler. He didn't show us that time, Mogg. No run. Swings and roundabouts. 156 for 3, 10 balls left.
So, quick summary, Greg Asselson just woke up and tuned in. What have I missed?
Not really all that much, but his standard IPL innings. Butler was a bit slow to start with, then picked a few up, and then got out 2 runs short of winning the Bear a bet, obviously. And Sampson batted quite well, but Dubé's been a bit slow. Punched that one up to long on. It'll be another single to Pollard. That might have been Miller, actually. No, it was Dubé. And Mumbai start to think about how they're going to bat and approach this chase, what looks like 170, 175. Certainly got plenty of firepower at the top of the innings. But David Miller's not finished just yet. Bumrah is in. It's a wide Yorker. Miller flashes it through the covers, but it is straight out to the sweeper. That's Surakumar Yadav. 158 for 3.
And Mog points out that tweet, last tweet of his, is the sort of thing that'll get him banned again.
Well, not by us, Mog. Not by us. Bumrah. Trying to get out of his spell with a nice economy rate, if perhaps no wickets. It's a full toss. Maybe that is the wicket. I think it is. Yes? No.
Yes.
Play that
yes,
into the ground.
Did he?
Yes. No, he's out. It was a full toss, which Dubé, I think, got a leading edge on, and the total lack of celebration from anyone, which is perhaps because they've just got Dubé out and they'd rather he stayed in.
Yeah.
It is what kind of threw me. It just lobbed back to the bowler as easy as you like.
Yeah.
Well, Dubé will perhaps learn from that
I
innings.
won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Well, it's not going to be Chris Morris. It's going to be Rian Parag.
That's a surprise.
It's not that much of a surprise, but I do think it's wrong.
I would have thought Tawatia was a bigger hitter than Parag as well.
Possibly.
From what I've seen of him. Which
Oh, he looks like a baby 'cause he's 17, like every teen in history.
Well, Bumrah 1 for 14 with 1 ball to go, and he's bowling with a new batsman. Couldn't be better. 6 coming up. Nope, clipped into the leg side. Pick up 1. Haven't seen a huge amount of intent to turn 1 into 2 in this innings.
No, you're right, absolutely. I mean, like, Kohli would be pressing for that and hoping to force the fielder into a mistake.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, not just settling for the 1 when he's only faced 1 ball. That said, Miller's only faced 3 balls himself. But you back Miller to come out with a big shot, wouldn't you? I mean, he's the kind of man who, if he gets a 4 or 6, it sort of inspires him or gives him the impetus to hit more.
Well, possibly, but he's only got 1 over to go now. Bumrah, very impressive as ever, 1 for 15. It's going to be Colton Nile, I think, with the last over. This is the last chance for the Royals to even get 170. It's 159 for 4 with 1 over to go.
I do have some good news for Hendo.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that at the Oval, Hampshire are 44 for 6.
For 6?
Yes.
Wow.
Jordan Clark has 3 wickets and Ricky Clark has 2.
Well, I'm wondering whether Surrey have decided to produce a game-winning wicket, because wasn't it they scored 600 plus against Leicestershire and still couldn't win? Then they got absolutely stuffed by Gloucestershire, wasn't it? They've not had a really good start, Surrey. As I say, I'll watch Surrey, but I'm not a massive follower in terms of a supporter.
Hard club to warm to.
Well, I played a bit for them, and they were not at the top level, obviously, but and they were even then. To be fair,
I bet. Yeah.
So, no more need be said. Colton Arlen, yeah, three overs of 23.
Me off on the atmosphere and the way young players are treated in many team sports. Terrible, just terrible. It's just bullying, and it doesn't help. Anyway, round Parag for the last over.
Knuckles responding to Warren about Bumrah's
thin edge past the stumps, and that was an impressive Chinese cut from Rian Parag. Flashes past the stumps for 4. Did miss his Yorker there, Colton Ryan. Is that finished? So you can go back on with that one, Jess.
Yep. So Knuckle was pointing out to Warren that Bumrah's always had a short run up because he grew up playing in a very cramped backyard. Nestlers reckons Pollard's been at the naan bread.
We've all been at the naan bread.
Knuckle reckons Pollard's just a very big man. Still very athletic.
No, I've been at the non
Batting better than ever over the last couple of years.
Changes to the field, but interestingly, third man and final leg are still short, and in fact, backward point is coming up into the circle as well. Certainly makes the edge a valuable shot if you can get away with it. And I think Parag was trying to hit the ball behind the wicket. He went for a scoop. Coltonard bowled a slower ball. That's one to the bowler, no run.
Yeah, I mean, 170 is the minimum now. I mean, that's 11. You're looking for 11 off this final over. It's not going to be easy. But you just got to get a couple of really good hits in there, and it makes a big difference.
Yep. Well, a couple of edges that fly
a couple of edges, yeah, absolutely.
Fly past the short fielders for 4.
They're worth their weight, aren't they?
All the good in the book. Fortunately, Miller can't seem to get on strike at the moment. It's Parag. Faces up, flips that onto his pad, goes for the bye, changes his mind, turns back, and that's no run as well.
Yeah, really frustrating, isn't it? For especially for Miller at the other end. Wanting to unleash one of those shots. I don't think they could have got through for the run there, to be honest.
Might have been worth a go anyway.
Well, yeah, and then I suppose you would have Chris Morris coming in to face, which would be possibly better than Parag. But they didn't.
3 balls to go, 163 for 4. Looking at 180, 185 at one point, and I'd be a bit disappointed if they do finish it up under 170. And I think Mumbai should fancy their chances of chasing these.
Yeah, well,
Colton Niles in.
That's
up high, not really sure where, down towards deep backward points. Oh, a fielder that in fact goes backwards in the cover area, doesn't quite get there. I'm sure they'll run through for 2. That just landed in between everybody. And I think that's the captain, Rohit Sharma. Can't blame anyone else. Right off the toe of the bat. And just looped up into no man's land and didn't quite get there, the fielder.
Is that Rohit?
I think so.
I think it was, wasn't it?
He's probably running back from short cover.
Yep. So just 2 balls to go. Does that mean that David Miller's going to get a couple of deliveries?
Going to get at least 1.
Good.
Whether that's a single or a dismissal. Colton Isle comes in. No, it's Parag. It's because they got 2. So it's Parag again.
Oh,
that's wide. So we're going to get 2 more balls there. See the idea from Colton Isle. And I don't know why he's looking quizzically back at the mark, because that was most clearly wide. But wait a minute, it's a no ball.
It's a no ball because it didn't land on the cut strip.
What?
If you bowl so wide that it doesn't land on the cut strip, it's a no ball.
That's a new one on me.
Oh, it's been in the rules for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Just a T20 thing, I assume.
No, that's a law of the game.
Oh. Okay.
I only came across it last year, but yeah.
Well, I've known that happen a few times without it being called a ball, but I guess it's quite a recent thing. That one is okay. I played it onto his stumps, and that's going to be out. So, but it's a free hit. So
yes, so it's a run.
So it will be a run. Does the batsman get? Yeah, batsman gets a run for that, for playing onto his stumps. There you go.
I did wonder there watching that, and I thought, does he not know he's been bowled because he's just set off for the run and kept going?
He won ahead of us there. Yes,
he was. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Good Yorker from Colton Isle, edged back onto the stumps, but free hit. So
David Miller gets the free hit. Oh no, that was the free hit. Sorry,
that was the free hit.
Yeah. My apologies.
Colton Isle looking perplexed by the whole business. So 8 off 7 from Parag. Wasn't really what they were looking for.
Yeah, Miller hasn't faced a ball until now in this over, has he? This is the thing.
Not in the last over, no. Gets the last ball.
3 off 3.
167 for 4. And I think Rohit should be reasonably happy with that. Another good Yorker, drilled up to long on though, and in fact he's beaten the fielder. He really did well with that one, Miller. Just missed the Yorker by a fraction, to be fair. And these bats that have got so much weight around the toe was drilled up for 4, so they got 170 in the end. 171 for 4.
Precisely the same as yesterday. And that was nowhere near enough.
Wasn't that the game was won by 1-1?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, that's true, and
Do you mean it shouldn't have been?
No, that was the day before.
Oh, okay.
No, they got 171 yesterday, and they got them for 3 wickets. I think yesterday it was Chennai, was it not? I think, yeah. 171 for 4. I mean, it's so-so, isn't it? What is it? It's 8.5 and over, which is not bad. It's not bad, but whether it's enough on this pitch when there's no dew around, I don't know.
It seems 10 short to me, but you could certainly do 10 short.
I always feel like it seems a short number, or you feel like you're short when you've only lost a minimal number of wickets. Yes. Really, you feel as if something must have been left out there.
Definitely,
and I think it has. But I mean, Brummer came back on and bowled really well, didn't he? But in fact, bowled a really good spell today. Not in terms of necessarily taking wickets, but just economically. Bolt got through and got a wicket, but he was a bit more expensive. But I mean, it's like one of these. It's a competitive total, or competitive-ish total, I suppose, is what you'd say. Anyway, we'll be back to do a few more minutes. I'm just wondering whether we should spend the in-between time of innings talking about various guerrilla things. What do you think there? Want to talk about guerrilla things? Well, he's giving me easy come, easy go. I don't really know.
Well, we can do,
Well, I can't really help you with that, so I'm going to nip off.
All right, you have a little break. Bear, I thought we could talk about various things coming up for guerrilla cricket. I can't hear you, though.
Yes, you can. I'm here.
There you are. I can't hear the crowd noise. I can't hear the jingles, and I can barely hear you, so I don't know quite what's going on.
Well, I don't know either, but we're still here.
We are still here.
And of course, the guerrilla shop.
And the guerrilla shop. Well, I'll talk about all these things. I mean, we've got plenty of time, and I think to ourselves, we don't have time a lot of the time during T20s to get in things like that. So why not spend the 10 minutes between innings talking about all the wonderful things guerrilla cricket can do for you, and the wonderful things you can do for guerrilla cricket.
Well, indeed. You can indeed. So there are many things you can do. You could have played GPL today, but I don't think anyone entered. So I'm just going to have a look at that.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna trail what's happening next week on the Guerrilla website. It's really quite exciting because
yes, of course,
we have done a deal where we will be serialising a number of new cricket books as they come out, as they emerge on your shelves. We will be featuring 3 pieces a week from a particular book, a chosen book, and you will find those on the website. If you've already been to our website, you'll know that we are doing stories every day. At the moment, it's all around the IPL generally, although there are other things going on in the cricket world. As you know, there's a couple of test matches started today, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, and Zimbabwe and Pakistan. But we are now trying to up our written content, so we get more clicks from nice people like you on the website. And if you do go to our website for any reason to read, it's always good if you would just click through on an advert or two, because that can be quite lucrative for us. So if you do manage to go to the website and look at these things, not only are helping to add to our presence regarding clicks, which is always useful, the Bear will tell you, you are also, if you go through and look at the adverts, then you're doing us a massive favour.
Exactly.
It would, actually, it would probably save you money in the long term. You wouldn't have to necessarily Patreon us if you were to do that regularly. We'd be quite happy about that.
No, we wouldn't. We want your Patreon. Shut up, Henry.
Well, we do want the Patreon as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't tell people.
I mean, if someone was to go and click on an advert every day, that would earn us more than most of the patrons per month, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
but you could do both. That's fine. That's good.
Well, maybe, but
I'm sure they figure it out after a while.
There's unique clicks which they'll catch up with it.
Exactly.
So it's an alternative if you can't afford Patreon. Put it like that.
Well, I mean, to be honest, not going to click on the same advert every day, are you? That would be silly.
No.
But if you're sort of interested enough to actually click through, presumably, if you do it on different adverts, that would help us.
That would. Otherwise, you can help us. And of course, there is Patreon, as Hendo says. That's our bulwark against basically going off air.
Bankruptcy.
There are things we have to pay the bills. Accommodation isn't free, Wi-Fi isn't free, everything else isn't free. I had to buy a new computer this year, so our patrons, we're forever grateful. That's why you get on the glory roll that endlessly goes around the world on YouTube, Facebook, and anywhere else where there's a visual stream. Your name is writ up large in lights, and $10 a month gets you on that glory roll. And once I figure it out, now we're with Redbubble, which is another place you can help us out, because obviously there's T-shirts, and there's a great design like the one behind Messy Jez there on the screen. There's lots of great designs, and not only are there T-shirts, there's bed covers, duvet covers, fridge magnets, cups, mugs, aprons, shower curtains, you name it. Well, you can probably get it at Redbubble with a Gorilla Cricket image on it, and all that helps us out. And it's good for you. They're good quality stuff at Redbubble.
It is. Don't forget, of course, the wonderful Joss Butler clock.
And
I mean,
yes,
that is. I mean,
clock
have that on your wall. I mean, that is just. I mean, you invite your friends. I don't know if anyone's seen that program. It's called. It's on sort of BBC Two at about 2:00, where people go around to each other's houses and decide who's got the nicest house. Now, if you had a Joss Butler clock on your wall, I mean, that would win you every time, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
I would have thought so.
And as I've said, when we finally do get money, I'm going to have a wall of clocks like they used to have in those movies for the stock market. One of each of our designs on a clock for each place that plays cricket in their time zone.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. I like that idea.
That's a really good idea. It's great. You could do that.
The thing I actually like that we offer is the phone cases. Because I don't know about you, but if I don't have a case on my phone, I'm going to smash it in no time at all.
Really?
And to have a Gorilla Cricket one on it is just perfect.
There you go. Brilliant. There's lots of good designs.
Who needs adverts when you've got Messy Jez?
Absolutely.
Tell me, what's Hairy Dog Brewery, Bear?
Hairy Dog Brewery is that is Manny's Brewery. We haven't seen Manny for a while.
They are sponsors of ours, are they?
Well, they were. I mean, I don't even know if they're still going. Actually, they were. They gave us about 90 bottles of beer a year or two ago, and we said for that we would put
an advert on the
website.
And because we're
I go to the page at the moment, I get Hairy Dog Brewery and Betway on the bottom of it as our sponsors.
Yeah, that's kind of laziness in the sense that we haven't taken them off.
Right.
To be honest.
I was looking for Google ads to click on.
Well, they're on all the other pages. They're on all the other pages.
I don't think that those aren't ads as such, are they? No, I have problems. But I even tried to take ad blocker off the other day, and I still couldn't see any ads. So
we don't have a lot of Google ads.
Very odd.
One of the things we could do is revamp the site so we have more Google ads on there, but then people might not like it so much. I mean, if you look at some of these sites, that just fucking ping up ads everywhere. I don't want that.
Oh well, no. Oh, I agree with that, but I mean, I certainly don't see any problem with getting a few more up there.
Well, the other thing is we have the Woodstock. I mean, obviously you can have one in the banner space at the top, but we have Woodstock there, which is another way you can help us out. And Woodstock, they've very kindly done a deal with us where you get 15% off, and they have really good. I mean, it's pro gear basically, and you get 15% off, and they're a lot cheaper than your Grey Nichols and your, whoever else, Newbury, whatever. And they in fact do have Newbury's master craftsman batsman maker. Who left Newbury a while ago, is Woodstock's bat maker. So there you go, quality gear, and you get 15% off GC radio.
I think the one of my last bats, when I was playing, was a Newbury, and it was called a Pro Balance, and it had a little button at the top which you could adjust. And I don't know whether it really did anything, but it felt like it did. And it was the best bat I've ever had in my lifetime. I always used to have Grey Nichols in the early days, and they were pretty good. But this Newbury was of another level.
The wife keeps complaining at me.
It makes me seem better anyway.
She wanders around.
Top score, Hendo?
Sorry?
What's your top ever score?
I can't hear you. You all keep talking over each other.
Your best score with your Newbury bat?
Oh, 127 not out.
Nice. Whoa, that's impressive.
Yeah, that was my best score ever, actually, funnily enough. But
how many tons?
It was that good a bat. I think that was about 1980. Oh God, I don't know, 88, something like that. I can't remember, to be honest.
How many tons have you got, Hendo?
Sorry?
How many tons have you got?
Do you know, I've never added them up. I'm that blasé.
Same with me. You know what?
That many. It's nothing like 50 or something like that. It's probably more about somewhere between 10 and 20, I would imagine.
I've only got 150 in my career. My highest ever score was 82.
82. Messy Jez, you got a high score?
Oh, I can't remember, mate. It's so long ago. It wasn't great. It was somewhere in the 40s, I think. Jeff Perkins suggests we should serialise the worst of cricket.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it needs pushing, doesn't it? Because it's been remained did. So I don't think that'll make much difference now. And that is from the same publishers. That was one of the early books that the publishers who are giving us these books to serialise was one of the worst cricket. But of course, Pitch, who are the company, are now probably about the biggest name in sports publishing in this country, I would say. You do get, the big publishers like HarperCollins doing, big name autobiographies. But in terms of actual sport books and sports literature, they are, they're well ahead of the field, has to be said.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, much like your batting, someone tells me I once got a 9-fer, but I'm not sure if that's true. But you
wouldn't remember getting a 9-fer. Well, I think I would remember getting a 9-fer.
This is why I'm not sure it's true, but I do remember getting an 8 for 35 or 8 for 36, something like that.
Right. Okay.
But I can't remember how many 5-fers I got, and I wouldn't have a clue how many wickets I got in my time playing.
No, I don't know. I've never really, as you say, you just don't. I mean, unless someone's recording them for you, you wouldn't know, would you? Unless you're really, egotistical, I think.
Well, I do know.
Probably remember the most drugs you had to buy on one occasion.
Fortunately, yes, I bought a few of those in my career.
I've had to buy a few of those, but sometimes I was under 18, or a couple of times I was under 18, so I'll kind of get someone else to buy it for me. So that kind of helps a little bit. 172 is required by the Mumbai Indians, by the way, if you're just wondering why we're wibbling away. Well, we're on air for so long, we thought we'd give you even more of us. We're on air for 8 hours today, providing that both go the distance.
Several people have pointed out that 171 has been the same score 3 IPL matches in a row set by the batting side.
Yeah, that'd be right, wouldn't it? Because it was 170. Oh, has it? What was it at the weekend when the Sunrisers and the Delhi had that super over? That was about 170 odd, wasn't it?
Yes, it
was.
Yeah, 171.
Okay. So that was that one. Then there was the one on Tuesday. Because there must have been a game on Tuesday. And
sorry, yes, I've got.
It couldn't be 3 in a row, could it? It couldn't be 3 in a row. It'd be 3 out of 4.
No, Tuesday's game was. Oh, hang on, let me just have a look.
I think you might as well have a look. Yeah, have a look at the.
Nestlers is suggesting that you haven't had a career in sales, Hendo, which seems extraordinary.
Yeah, by discouraging people to go to Patreon. Well, I don't care how you give us money, as long as you give us money. We keep looking for that fabled sponsor on the horizon. But every now and again he just keeps slipping, or he or she slips below it, and we can't see them. So it's all very frustrating. But
so the match at Ahmedabad between RCB and Delhi Capitals, RCB made 171 for 5.
Right.
And then yesterday, SRH made 171 for 3. So today we've got another 171. So it is 3 games in a row.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll go with you. Anyway, it looks like we can stop wibbling now and telling you about all the wonderful things Gorilla does, because we're going to get more cricket.
You're off.
I do believe I'm not on. Who's on, Bear?
It's me and the other 2 that are on now, Nestlers and Messi.
Okay, I'll see you in about 14 overs time.
Indeed. See you then.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Welcome back, Nestlers.
All right.
Yeah, and so Quinton de Kock and Rohit Sharma will be opening. I shall give them some jingles.
Quinton de Kock has a name you can mock, but he's really quite useful at cricket. I have heard that he can open the bat, even if he's not keeping wicket.
Who do you reckon's going to open the bowling? Jayad Unadkat, he even playing today? The Fizz could open, couldn't he? Or maybe Chris Morris. Let's see what Sanju Sampson does. Rohit's going to face up. And presumably we've got about a minute before they start. They'll have a countdown before they start the second innings as well, just so they can get the TV ads lined up. So they know
you'll get the drone in, haven't you?
Yeah. I don't think they do for the second innings.
Jeff Perkins says, does Messi just smash his phone every time he narrowly misses out on the GPL as well as terrorising the dogs?
We did have a GPL entry today, just one GPL entry. JB came in at 330, which is a possibility at 171, isn't it? If they fall 10 or 11 runs short, it will be a victory for a singular £1 entry. That's a good return. That's 39 to 1. Zakaria is going to open up. And he, I know, is the last player in the reserve list.
Zakaria all the time. Chatting, chatting, chatting. Chatting Zakaria all the time.
And the first ball, Rohit just plays out on the leg side. They're going to come back for 2 as it goes, wheedles its way, with not a lot of timing, out to deep mid wicket. So I should go under the fall of the first wicket, as is right. It seems a bit unintuitive when Rohit and de Kock are out there, but I presume someone's got to try and score some runs, and therefore they might skew one somewhere. That's what I'm hoping anyway. 28.5 is the run line, so that's not so bad. Gives you a little bit of margin to play with. Zakaria is in, defended second ball out towards mid wicket. There isn't a mid wicket, but it's easy enough for the bowler to pick up on his follow through, and there ain't no run.
Zakaria's had quite a steady record so far. He's gone between 31 and 36 runs for each of the last 5 matches, and he's taken 7 wickets in those as well. So
it doesn't seem too bad, but 31 to 30, I mean, if that's a normal, I hate being a bowler in this tournament. I mean, that's what, 4 overs, that's 8, averaging about 8, 9 and over.
Yeah.
It's not very encouraging. That one comes in a little bit to Rohit, it's decent length. You can get on the back foot, punches it out to the cover man, sweeping. Ooh, I can't see who it is. Still can't see who it is. Can't read his Ryan out there, and deep Ryan Parag then that'll be, and it's just a single. I hate it. We haven't gone on about it this time, but the fact that they have the bloody names at the bottom of the shirts and not the top, it's a lot harder to see.
It is. The amount of real estate given to the number when most people don't actually know the numbers anyhow.
No,
crazy.
But we keep getting sent lists by Knackle.
Yeah, I know.
I never look at.
By the time you look it up, they've gone off screen.
Well, exactly. You just got to kind of learn the faces, which you kind of do as the competition goes on. Zakaria is into bowl. It's full outside off stump. Nicely played by de Kock, but can't beat the man at cover. Nicely timed the push drive to Butler, who is, of course, not keeping. Sanjay Sampson decides that that's his job. Prefers that to standing in the outfield, and he's the captain. So there you go. Tough, Joss. 3 for none after 4 balls. De Kock is going to face his second ball. And, there's a little bit of a hop skip when Zakaria starts his run up. Driven again. Can't beat Butler once more. Cover. Sly grin on the side of the mouth from de Kock. But there is no run. Any more tweets? People getting at us?
Well, Leia has let loose her secret about sales. It's not important to have a good product, but to correctly identify the numpties that will lose their shit over a shitty product.
Yes, I mean that's how things like that, was it JML that endlessly, this is it. You put it, it's like anything. You put it out to enough people. All you need is that small proportion to actually want it. That's just dropped out on the leg side. Zakaria chased it down as it only went onto the next strip. He was a bit hindered by Rohit, who was also running in the same direction. By the time he'd jinked past him, the run was safely done.
In the last 20 odd years, when I thought society had truly lost the plot, was when Levi's started selling jeans with dirt on them.
Well, I know.
And they were flying off the shelves, and I was just sitting there just thinking, you can actually sell shit to people.
You can.
And they will buy it.
It's like buying rich jeans. Why would
people I was working with were coming in with these jeans, that had kind of
oil stains on them. Exactly. It's ridiculous. It's like, why buy ripped jeans? Just wear them long enough so they get to that state.
Yeah.
And some of these jeans are extortionate as well.
Well, you pay a premium for shit jeans with shit on.
Well,
Guerrilla cricket, old people's radio.
well, sensible people. Would you buy jeans with shit on when you were 20?
No. But then I
Exactly.
did wear platform shoes, and I look back.
But
and I
it's
think,
not.
what
It's
was I thinking.
Sometimes it's the excess of price, right? So, like a good leather, for example, my wife likes bags, right? So, obviously, Una Cat is going to bowl a second over. I'll give him a jingle shortly. That's full and just turned into the leg side, but the cock out towards deep square leg. It will be a single. The bowler is this man.
Jada Luna Cat, when you find out that he's worth more money than you'll ever earn in your whole life, hardly seems fair.
So my wife buys bags, but you look at bags, and you look at the fakes. That's the interesting thing. You think what goes into a bag, you know? Okay, so there might be some hand stitching on it or whatever. How many hours does it make a bag? And you know, Gucci will sell a bag, or Chanel will sell a bag for $3,000. That's just guided. Can't beat by Rohit. Can't beat the man. He's on a 45, but at third man on the edge of the circle. It won't be a run.
And that bag does not cost anywhere near that.
Exactly. I mean, the premium you get from having a brand is just insane.
Yeah. No, it's well, it all plays into the psyche of people, isn't it? It's,
Well, exactly.
Look at me. I've got a Gucci bag. I'm rich.
Stupid people.
So
The people with
what's
too much
that on
money.
your shirt that you've got on there, Bear?
That's super dry. But that wasn't £3,000. You know, that was probably a slightly over. Oh wow! It zips past the outside edge of Rohit as he prods forward. It wasn't caught by the keeper anyway. He spilled it, so it would have mattered if he got an edge. But I don't think he did, because there wasn't too much. No, went well past the outside edge. Dipped a little bit on Sanju, got him in a knackers. Ooh.
We all like to project something. I mean, I'm wearing the thing, you know, National Scientific Institute, Outpost 31, from the film The Thing.
That needs a remake. They've done a real remake. That needs a decent remake. Better
No.
Well, I mean,
No.
I mean, it's good. Ooh, driven back a little bit aerial for a while, but drops just short of Una Cat and then goes up to mid-on where Chris Morris is fielding on the 30-yard circle. I'd quite like to see a remake of The Thing.
No.
Yeah.
No. They've done a prequel to it, and it was not. It was shit compared to the original.
What was the prequel?
It's called The Thing.
Oh, really?
And it was the story about the Norwegians or wherever they were before they got to the base, and they had all modern, techniques to CGI in it, and it just didn't work. It's just, leave it be.
I don't know. It's a good film. I'll give it that. It's good that.
Bloody Hollywood accountants.
But the effects are a bit dated, you know.
No.
I watched. What did I watch the other night? This is cut out to Point. Are they going for a single? Oh, fuck me. That would have been such an easy run out had he hit. It's a long throw in from Point, who's on the edge of the circle. Did they go, or did he get sent back? I think the cock must have been sent back by Rohit as a little. No, the cock, sorry, they went through for the single. The cock must have called it, and Rohit was very slow getting off. We're not going to see. It was a decent bit of fielding at Point. It was going past him.
Who'd have been out from?
He wasn't even in the frame had it hit the wickets, but it missed. There's a big smile on Rohit's face.
Warren wonders, when I were a lad, can't be too far away.
Yeah. When I were a lad. I watched Escape from New York the other day. Speaking of Kurt Russell and the thing. Una Cat is in. Slower ball, I think. A little bit of a cutter. Just worked into the leg side by Quinton de Kock out to deep mid wicket. Comes in off the fence. Miller out there. And it'll just be the one run to end the over. And the effects of that were terrible. Actually, the story in it was terrible. And I really loved that film. But it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, but remaking it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be any good. I mean, you're not going to remake Citizen Kane or The Third Man or
no, you're not,
because
those are kind of script heavy. But something like The Thing, where it's about an alien.
No, it's about the characters, the people playing. It's about those different characters together in that shed in Antarctica.
Well, someone would. Yeah, but the only one you really remember is Kurt Russell.
No,
you need a strong character to play the Kurt Russell role.
Not if you're a fan of the film.
I am a fan of the film.
It's like Alien.
I love the film. Yeah, this is why they keep making them, because they got better effects and they're just getting worse. It's true, admittedly. Cut by Quinton de Kock out to point boundary, and there is just a single as one of the 2 men out.
Now, the nub of this discussion is the amount people pay for labels, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You look. Let's just bring it back a bit. You look at what people will pay for a bat because it's got New Balance on it, right? And that is just a label on a pretty ordinary bat. Whereas if you go for Woodstock, the money goes.
Oh, there's a big appeal for OEW. That can't be far off, but probably pitched outside leg. It was an away swinger. I think it started a little bit straight, probably pitched outside leg. The attempted sweep by Rohit. He missed it, crashed into his pad. It might have even been swinging past the off stump. It looked good, but I'm not sure it was out. It probably pitched outside leg, maybe missing off. But a good ball. It's a leg by. Let's have a look. Yeah, it went outside leg stump. Hit him in front of middle. It might have been going
and I reckon it was probably missing off.
Yeah, I do as well. It looked good. Worth a shout because it was such a shit shot, I suppose. But probably not out. That's too far wide of the off stump, and the Cock's going to get the first boundary of this Mumbai innings. It's a good shot. It was well too wide and too full, and really got what it deserved. Out to the extra cover boundary for 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
I mean, sports advertising's some of the biggest stuff, isn't it? Because, I know from experience with golf that pro golfers don't use the same clubs that you buy off the shelf in a golf store.
Of course not.
Yet people will not go near anything that isn't used by, Tiger Woods and.
Well, exactly. I mean, I that's the thing about advertising, isn't it? It sort of gives you this sense that they've got enough money to pay for advertising, they must be good, which is nonsense. As that's clipped out to mid wicket, hurled in by Chris Morris as the Cock had stepped out the crease a little bit.
Well, it was really interesting when somebody's New Balance bat broke a couple of weeks ago from not that much happening to it. When they brought out the new one, they spent 5 minutes just pulling the label off the old one and putting it on the new one.
What was this in?
Exactly tells you all you need to know, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where was this?
In the IPL.
In the IPL. That is shocking. That's because they're beholden to their fucking marketers, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's straighter on leg stump. The Cock clears his front leg a little bit, plays it out to the leg side, out to mid wicket. There's a single.
Well, they always say at golf clubs, if you're playing in a match against someone at the club, don't be wary of the guy with brand new, fantastic set of expensive golf clubs. Beware of the guy with really old golf clubs, but with new grips.
Yeah, because he really likes them.
Yeah, well, and that guy's going to be is a very, very good player because he knows that he just needs to re-grip these things.
Yeah. There's another appeal for OEW. I think that's too high.
That's Cock.
That's Rohit in the Cock, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's him in the Cock. Yeah. It's not D-Cock. It's Rohit Cock.
Yeah.
It's Rohit D-Cock.
Yeah, exactly. And it's gone nowhere, and it's a dot ball to end the over. 15, I think, off 3.
Leia says, fun fact about that Thing prequel, they had all the practical effects for that done, then some suits decided that practical effects were old-fashioned and had them replaced with shitty CGI. And it shows. Rennie Keater says, you're just jealous because Gorilla Cricket Gear doesn't sell for hundreds of pounds. Pirate Badge Charles says, well, that's your classic commodity fetishism. The bag gets imbued with an abstract value that has no relationship to the true value of the labour that created it.
It's a weird human thing. That's why I never do it. And it's like, all these things on eBay and Amazon. People, I've thought about it a few times, but it's actually a real ball ache to do. And kudos to anyone who does, because I don't think there's a huge amount of money. There's a massive amount of competition. There's loads of people do it. The Fizz is going to come in. He's going to be bowling to the Cock. I shall find a jingle for him. I won't play it right now, but I shall line it up. His first ball is left arm over to the Cock, who guides that, beats the man at point, and the man who is on third man on the 45 doesn't bother diving past him, and it wheedles its way down to the third man boundary for 4 runs. And all these people on Amazon or whatever, they all buy the same shit. You go to what's the Alibaba And basically, something you buy on there, you see it all over. You put in something on Amazon or you put it on eBay, it's that product. And you can figure out how much they're paying. That's a great shot from Quinton de Kock. He's gone across his stumps. It's a very full ball by the Fizz, and it was crashing into middle and leg stump. But he picked it up off the stumps, deposited it over the short, fine leg into the stands. And that's the first one of these for the innings. He just helped it around with the pace of the ball, made sure he got bat on it to not be bowled, and get it over the man short on the 45. And he's got such good timing on it, it's gone all over the boundary for 6. But some of them, and a friend of mine who did it, he decided to get himself a logo done so he could sell it. And actually, I ended up buying one about a year and a half later as coffee cups he did, because I liked the logo. And I was looking through, and they're all the same on Amazon, and you picked out the logo, and I thought, that's all right, and I ended up buying one, and weirdly I remembered it was his. Full by the Fizz, just clipped out into the leg side by de Kock. He'll get himself a single.
Redbubble's interesting though. If you go into Redbubble and t-shirts and type in music, I mean, there is so much stuff on there that must be copyrighted, and nothing seems to happen.
No, well, someone nicked our t-shirt designs.
Yeah.
Weirdly. Yeah.
Somebody nicked the Gorilla Cricket ones.
Yeah.
Weird.
Andy Newman, who did them for me, emailed me and said, these guys have, got your thing up. It's weird. Crashed into the leg stumps. He tried to work out into the leg side row hit. Takes a couple of steps down the track towards the bowler. Doesn't get anything on it. There's no run.
I guess if you just do it in volume and steal the design, all you're looking at is somebody else doing all the work and you taking the markup. So
yeah, you're not. But again, you see, the thing is, like with all these things, I mean, we have a reason to sell them because we're doing Gorilla Cricket and it's merchandise for us. But I mean, the amount of stuff on there, you could nick the best design in the world, and you're not guaranteed to make money because everyone else is doing it anyway, and there's so many on there. You still got to find it. Rohit tries to guide that past the man short, third man. Hits high up on the bat, and not with great timing, doesn't beat him, but they'll get through for the single. They move on to 26. 1 ball left in a 4th over. Rohit's on 5 off 11.
If you want a Rolling Stones t-shirt, don't go to the Rolling Stones store to pay 30 quid. Go on Redbubble and get one for 15.
Well, this is the other thing. I mean, if you've got paint or whatever, you can make your own. Go onto Redbubble, set up an account, and print it out for yourself. You can.
But people are putting up shirts with like the real album cover on it.
Yeah, I've
this
seen
their own design.
No, of course.
Well,
exactly that. You've got to find them, get rid of it. Quinton de Kock attempts that again. I think the Fizz saw him trying to do it, bowled it. It was outside what would have been a wide line, but the Kock was so far across. Tried to still play a shot, just bunted it into the offside, and he got through for a single. They move on to 27. And de Kock will stay on strike, 21 off 13, as that was the last ball of the over.
Jeff Perkins wonders whether we should be selling handbags instead of t-shirts and clocks. Rennie Keatus says, I see the Dead Pitch Society is meeting again in Sri Lanka. Warren says, remakes were only those films that are blockbuster worthy, although maybe the rise of Netflix et al. As content producers, that might change. Warren says, one label, huh? When I were a lad, we had a box as a team if we were lucky. Barong reckons, look at Argwell next time Punjab plays. His bat is Seat. Is it a rubber bat?
Right. There's a bit of a disappointing lack of cement heads.
Quinton de Kock doesn't time that out through mid-wicket. It was air for a while as he runs at Unadkat. But he got it wide enough of mid-on. It'll get a single out into the deep. And I think I'm going to lose another bet here. God damn it.
It's not good there.
And 1 and 3.
I mean, there was a time when all of the teams seemed to be sponsored by cement companies, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they've moved on a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah.
Well, India's it's a thriving economy. I mean, with that many people,
it
must be expensive to run. However, Unadkat is in now. It's launched leg side. You can't bowl there. It's a length ball on about leg stump, and Rohit just leans into it over the leg side, over mid wicket. Great timing, and it's into the stands for 6 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6.
A really nice height, good pull shot. It was only just over waist height, and Rohit's not going to miss out on that.
There could be some cement sponsors. There are some names on shirts and stuff that I don't know. They could be cement companies, I suppose. I mean, obviously Samsung, DHL, but some of the other stuff, maybe.
Well, Rohit, 11 off 12, is going to face up to Unad Kat, who's gone for 10 off his 8 balls so far. Tries to give himself some room to cut into the offside. Gets an under edge, goes back to the bowler, and there's no run.
There's going to be some shitty people, Australians in India, trying to get back from India to Australia who can't at the moment because there are no flights, when they see that Zampa and Kane Richardson were able to get back in through a charter flight when there's supposed to be a complete ban of people coming into Australia.
But they went via Doha, didn't they?
Yeah, and there's supposed to be a ban on anybody coming via anywhere from there.
Oh, right. Yeah, well. I do think that's a bit off, really, if you're a national. That's driven up to long off for a single. Just put them in quarantine when they get in.
You see, we lost 2 umpires as well.
Yep.
Well, those players do have to go into quarantine when they get back to
14
Australia.
days.
Absolutely, yeah. They'll do 14 days in hotel quarantine.
One of them's going to Perth, isn't he?
Well, who was the first one to... Yeah, AJ Ty. He's currently in hotel quarantine in Sydney until he can come back to Perth.
The cock is facing up. Unad Kat, 5th ball of the over. It's fullish and driven up to mid-on with such good timing. They're not going to get a single. Rohit head off. So another throw by the youngster at mid-on. But he didn't hit the stumps and it wasn't out.
Farong sent a picture in of Agarwal's Seat bat, but I think if you look at Rohit's bat in this game, it's from the rubber company.
Yeah.
It's not about promoting bats, it's just about who sponsors you.
Well, when I worked at Slater and Gordon, we sponsored Alistair Cook's bat.
Yeah, you did. That's right. It used to be on the back of the bat, didn't it?
Yeah, we didn't make bats as far as I was aware.
Didn't do you a lot of good.
No.
Unad Kat, last ball of the over is full and into the pads of Quinton de Kock. He times that sweetly out to Chris Morris, who's at deep wide, long on. And it'll just be the 1 run. He'll retain the strike again. He's faced 16 balls with 23. Rohit's 12 of 14.
Rennie Keeter says sometimes the gear is actually worth the money. The latest bouncy boots have taken minutes off the marathon records, including the sub 2 hour marathon by Eliud Kipchoge.
Yeah,
Kipchoge. But isn't that cheating?
Kipchoge. Oh God, I can't remember. I should know. It's Kenyan.
Leia says I would like remakes much better if Hollywood stopped turning good movies into bad to mediocre remakes, instead concentrate on turning bad to mediocre films into good remakes, but that will require effort, so it's not going to happen. No, they just look at short-term profit, Leia. It's
I tell you what I do want to see.
Hollywood accountants.
I want to see Godzilla versus Kong, mate. I'm telling you.
It's rubbish.
Yeah, of course it is, but I still want to see it.
It's utter crap. Don't waste your time.
It'll be fun.
It is. It's not. It's just shit.
Have you seen it?
I've watched it. It's shit.
Well, of course it's shit. But there's good shit and there's bad shit. In comes Chris Morris, and his compatriot Quinton de Kock greets him by smashing it over square leg with great timing into the stands for another one of these.
Six.
That was just another length ball, leg side he pitched. He got across his stumps. And Hoyter with great timing, that went a long way. This is looking pretty ominous for Rajasthan at the moment.
Interestingly,
around the same as the Royals were at the same stage.
They were 45, weren't they, after or 44 or 45 after 6. They're 46 now with 4 balls left on that. He gets inside the line there, Quinton de Kock, and it's gone down to a very fine leg for 4 runs. The thing is,
and if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary, crossing a boundary.
Mumbai haven't fired a lot with their batting, but if they do, this score should be so easy to get. And they've got so many hard hitters coming in at 4, 5, 6. That's an appeal by Chris Morris. I think it's hit him outside the line. At best, umpire's call. They've been going on to hit leg stump. It was very full. The umpire's not giving it. Are they going to think about reviewing it? It's a leg by, so they've got the option, but no one does, because obviously it pitched outside leg stump.
Yeah, definitely.
Ravi tells us that the IPL is the only game in town for advertising in India. Viewing figures are rising, which is interesting given the current state of things.
I'm not surprised. You can't do anything else.
Well, it was marginal on leg stump. It was probably going on to hit the stumps.
Yeah, but it was definitely pitching outside.
It was close on the line there. That's defended with no foot movement by Rohit on the back foot out to the offside. Cover comes herring in, fields it, throws it at the stumps. There's no run. Oh, that 4 wasn't de Kock's, by the way. It was leg bys earlier in the over. He's 29 off 19 now. And I imagine Mumbai big favourites here.
Warren is watching a trailer of the Indian version of The Office.
Oh my God!
Oh my word! That'd be interesting. Here comes Morris on the back foot again, punched by Rohit out towards the man, sweeping on the cover boundary, and he will get just the single. Yeah, Mumbai.
I wonder if Ricky Gervais is involved with that. He was involved in the original setup of the American version, wasn't he?
Well, presumably he licensed the format, doesn't he? He must make a fortune out of that.
I like the American version.
It just goes on forever.
It was very funny. I had struggled with the English version. I don't like Ricky Gervais much, but also it just reminded me of my life.
Yeah, but that's what it was. It kind of made it was that squirm-worthy TV, wasn't it? Full and driven. He's going to be out. Hey, you fucker! I just put a bet on. Ah, dear, oh dear. Rohit's just slapped that straight to mid-on. It was a good time shot, but he never got enough elevation on it. And Morris gets a wicket with his last ball as his first over. 1 for 8 he has. Rohit's gone for 14 off 17. It's pretty poor batting, really. After 6 overs and a power play, they are 49 for 1.
How's that? You missed about, I called you up. How's that?
Ravi now's got things you expect to hear on Gorilla Cricket number 269, but there's good shit and bad shit. The Bear astonishingly not making a drug reference. And unusual dismissals comes in, who I've not heard of before. Says, frankly, Godzilla vs. Kong is worth seeing just to watch them using wrestling moves on each other.
Yeah.
It's appalling. It's really Bear, honestly, trust me, don't waste your life watching it.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing I can just have on in the back. I mean, this is it for me, movies. I mean...
Have you seen Skull Island or whatever it's called?
Yes.
That's good. That's
it's not that great.
That.
It's the
good.
same
It's got
sort of
story
shit.
to it, interesting characters, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but I mean the stories and all these things are so unbelievable anyway that they're just nonsense. So
Yeah, but there's a good story. It's a good story, that one. Godzilla vs. Kong is just top pants. It really is awful. I was really, I thought, I'll watch this, be entertaining. 40 minutes in, I'm just like, what the fuck is this crap?
Yeah,
well, that applies to most superhero and monster movies from my point of view, I've got to say.
Superhero films, I mean, after the first couple, they're all to me, they all just run the same, you know. Something happens at the start, then there's a lot of blah, 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 then something builds up, then they all have a massive fight at the end. Somebody big in the film dies, and then some bloke is going to take over the universe and doesn't.
Yep, that's about right, but they're always fun to get there. The Avengers series that got through to eventually Infinity Wars or whatever was a really good bunch of films, I thought.
I like the Iron Man films because I think he plays it really well.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. I think he's really good.
Right, Rahul Tewata is now going to come into the attack. The power play is over. His first ball is at Quinton de Kock, and he works it out to the leg side and he gets a single. We have a new batsman who is this man.
Surya Kumar. Surya. Now I know the others might have let you down. It's not too late to play Surya now. Surya Kumar, you're down.
Looking at a replay, I think Rohit was trying to hit that straighter over the bowler's head. And just that turned a fraction in his hand, slightly on the wrong line. The bowler is. We should get a jingle in for him. Probably not now, but after this ball. Second ball comes in, driven at by Surya Kumar. Back to the bowler, and there's no run. It's this man. Question is, are we going to have any time between the end of this match and the beginning of the next one? Tuatia is in, and inside out, Surya Kumar goes over extra cover. That's a lovely, lovely shot. Good timing. Didn't try to hit it too hard. Gets himself off the mark with one of these.
2 + 2 is our man.
That was a really nice shot.
I think this is a change that suits Mumbai. I think Rohit was really struggling apart from that 1-6.
Yeah, he did, and Quinton de Kock was keeping him up with a rate.
Yeah.
Mumbai have only one out of the last 5 between these two, weirdly enough. So they do have a little bit of a hoodoo over them. You think with that batting lineup they should do it really. Surya Kumar cuts that. It's quite close and pretty full. It's really good because he's found the space. There's no one. The guy covering at cover is forward of cover, more towards extra cover, and he can't get round. That's gone behind square on the offside, behind point. Scoots its way to the boundary for 4 more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It does
It was the 40-something anniversary of the first Ramones album the other day.
Really?
Must be Christ. Still sounds fucking great though.
Tuatia tosses that one up, whipped into the leg side, out towards deep, wide, long on. It's David Miller out there, fields it. It'll just be the single.
I didn't buy it when it came out. I bought the third one, Rocket to Russia, when it came out. I was of an age when the third one came out. But yeah, wow.
How old are you, Nestlers?
58.
So you were 18 when the first one came out.
Something like that.
Last ball of my commentary stint is a reverse swept by the Cock out towards what would be third man boundary, past the man who's short on the 45 on the third man, and it's the last ball of the over gets another 4.
1, 2 ka 4, 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
That's a good shot by Quinton de Kock, and he's going to join us. I think Messi's staying on.
I'm on tweets.
And I'm remaining. And he's going to take you through ball by ball for the next 7 overs.
Yeah, a good start from Mumbai. And Surya Kumar straight in, and that's kind of the difference. It's not necessarily experience, it's just quality. It's the fact that Surya Kumar can come in and score 9 off his first 4 balls compared to Dubey, none off his first 6. But, it may be harsh to try to expect Dubey to meet the standards of Yazov, who's an excellent T20 batsman.
Yeah, he is classy. He's looked, unlike Dubey, who I've seen a couple of times in this tournament, Surya Kumar has looked classy. May not have always got big runs, but generally he goes along at a decent lick before he gets out.
He's got lots of options. He's not going to get tied down by any particular style of bowling, and that's a big advantage.
Yeah. Warren's wondering what is the average number of sequels for a movie franchise to go from great to shit. He reckons 3. The trouble is they don't stop at 3. They go to number 7, by which time it's just
Speaking of Mustaf is a little bit short outside off stump, a thick edge from Surya Kumar. That one wasn't totally in control, to be fair, but it did beat the man at third man, and it's another 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I wonder what's the most number of sequels. I think Hellraiser's got to be up there at 9 or 10.
Has it really? Christ! I watched Hell.
Most
I watched
are like straight to video.
Yeah, I watched Hellraiser 3 the other day.
Depends what
It's
you
pretty
call
cool.
sequels. I mean, the series like Bond that go on forever.
Yeah, that's not really the same. A lovely shot by Stuart Kumar. He's only going to get one for that. He just guides it the full ball down to third man.
Police
68 for one.
Police Academy had about 9 or 10.
That's quite a few, yeah.
There's quite a few that have gone on way too long. I mean, you think about Alien. It started off with Aliens 1, 2, 3. Then you got all the Alien Predator films as well. Predator's another one. Basically,
Yeah, you've got all these, and you can talk about Marvel universes and whatnot as well.
yeah, but they've got a lot in them, I suppose. I mean, Alien versus Predator. It's like, okay, that's the story, isn't it? We all want to see.
Still got
Alien
2
versus
films
Predator.
out of that.
I think they got 3 out of it, didn't they?
Might have done. Mustafa Zura hasn't got such fripperies on his mind. He's 1 for 18 already, and that was surely played on by De Kock onto his pads and stopped Mustafa Zura from appealing.
Oh, I thought so. I thought it was an inside edge onto his pad.
They're having a chat about it. Sampson's coming up. It all looked outside off stump from the left-hander. There was a bit of bat in it, and I think they're going to decide against.
Oh no!
No, last second review didn't look great to me, unless we've all missed something.
Well, unless he jabbed down on his pad and it hit his pad.
Maybe, but then even so, it looked outside line of off stump.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best umpire's call, probably. He's a very cool man, Sanjay Sampson, isn't he?
Certainly has a cool demeanour, which is always good in a captain. Let's have a look. This isn't the official verdict, but De Kock's back pad is already outside off stump. It comes in a bit. Yeah, he's just edged it onto his pads.
Yeah.
Everyone's having a bit of a brain fade there.
There's a big edge.
Unless they
unless
think
that's the
it's hit
flap
the pad first, but I can't see that.
I think it might have actually brushed into the flap because he's drawing it away. You don't really see a lot. You need
Is
to
the
look
suggestion
for
that
the
it's
other
hit the
side.
front? No, that's the edge.
That's the edge, yeah.
Well, irrespective, you can see 90% of the ball outside off stump at the point where it's hitting something.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's
Sure,
gonna help.
sometimes the actual camera angle isn't the same as straight on though, and it looks it's one way or the other. But they seem to have accepted the fact that it was edge before pad.
Yes, so we didn't get to the ball tracking, and we move on. And so the fielding team, Royals, have lost their review. Might come back to bite them later. 68 for 1 in the 8th over. Chase of, 172 to win. Looking pretty good, Mumbai. They've got plenty of batting to come.
Yeah, that's what they do have. They've ordered a fire though, haven't they?
De Kock, the man in occupation at the moment, drives past Mustafa Zura. He's just going to get one as mid-off comes around to mid-on.
That was bounced into the ground over the bowler. Nice, easy
Yep,
shot.
just past his left hand.
As we look at the Safari, which I'm pretty damn sure is a Discovery.
They've just rebadged it, you fool.
Well, I think so. I think it's a Tata, isn't it? And it's owned by they own Range Rover and Land Rover.
Well, it may be that the Range Rover is a rebadged Discovery.
Well,
Maybe.
Rebadged
Full
Safari,
onto the
you
pads
mean.
and a lovely shot by Surya Kumar. The long on fielder David Miller does get round, but beautiful timing there. It's another single. Now it's 70 for 1 with 1 ball to go in the 8th over.
Yeah, just scooting along nicely. No need to worry yet. And as you say, plenty of batting to come.
Yeah, it all looks fairly comfortable at the moment. They've got 2 of their best batsmen at the crease. Surya Kumar off to a quick start. And although the scores were equal after this point, I certainly like Mumbai right now. Mustafa Zura is in. It's a full toss. Doesn't really get hold of it. De Kock just ends up bunting it up to long on. Another single, 71 for 1 after 8.
So Leah has a recommendation for you, Bear. Just get a Blu-ray of Dread. You can play that on repeat for days.
Great film. Great film.
The second one with the actual block wall thing is a cracking
The Carl Urban one, yes.
Yeah, that's a wicked film. That's a really good film. I love
Yeah.
it.
It suffered from 2 things. It wasn't a big hit. One, because it was R-rated. You can see why when you see it. And the other was they couldn't quite shake off the association with the Stallone film.
Yes, exactly.
Right, yeah.
But it was much more in the, what gritty kind of what you expected of Mega City 1 and all that kind of crap.
Warren says storylines are unrealistic in quotes, but 150-foot gorilla, sure, why not? Jeff Perkins says Bear wanting to watch Godzilla vs Kong so he can barrack from the gorilla. Tomo Pollitt, the 10th edition of Fast and Furious is out this year. The only thing was that it was never good, which is a fair call. Jeff Perkins, all T20 leagues seem to be sequels that go on forever.
This is true.
And Ravi says, don't forget Fast and Furious, which is at 8 and shows no signs of slowing down. And don't forget, doesn't the Avengers cycle count as a series of sequels? Star Wars, including the side films, has 11.
It's true. I mean, Star Wars kind of. I mean, this is the some of it is in nostalgia, isn't it? You remember I remember going to cinema to see Star Wars, but I was only 7, and it was amazing when you were 7.
Sure.
But you watched all the prequel. The prequels
when you're 47,
were shit.
it wasn't so flash. Was
well,
it?
Exactly. The prequels were shit, and by the time they got to the last film, I mean, they're just hopping light years in seconds. It's like boom. Let's go to the other side of the galaxy. Okay, we're there in 2 hours. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, and they did make the same film 4 times.
Yes, I thought the second one was quite good. It was kind of like a chase movie, wasn't it? I mean, all that happened is they were chasing one lot of people to another planet, and everything happened in that time frame. So it was a bit more. Fair enough.
Renee Kida points out there are 30 Japanese Godzilla movies and 3 Hollywood
of course.
ones.
Yep.
The human
Japanese
characters
ones
are
great.
always crap. It's traditional.
Yeah.
We're all just waiting for the guys in the rubber suits.
I was going to say, in the old days when we were young, or when I was young, on BBC Two, they used to have those Godzilla movies.
It did, yes. Yeah.
The men in suits trampling over cardboard cities. Fucking genius.
It's the sort of thing that in my era would have been the Saturday morning movies that we all went down to at the cinema.
Exactly. They had the other day. They had a black and white. You remember the black and white Flash Gordons?
Oh yeah.
And I was showing my son. This is what we used to watch on a Saturday morning. It was on horror or something at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. And they basically just run around chasing something over there, and then they run off again. And then the spaceships used to go around in those stupid little circles with sparks flying out of it.
That's right. Yeah.
Great.
Oh god, the special effects were something else.
Exactly. I mean, this is the thing about making sort of movies that are unbelievable. The effects have to be at least realistic. And of course, it's only recently, in the last 10, 15 years, where computers have caught up with the imagination. At least it's possible now, but then it just means the scripts get really shit because everyone just goes over the top and go, wow, we can do this.
Exactly. Once the cart starts driving the horse, then you've got a problem. Yeah.
Well, that's why the original Star Wars was such a breakthrough, even though the acting was appalling.
Yeah, true.
I think half the cast weren't interested when they were doing it. Unad Cat is in. De Kock tips that into the leg side. They may come back for 2. We didn't see much of this in the Royals innings, and a bit of a difference from Mumbai there. They scoot through for 2 after just tipping one into the leg side.
Yeah, they took all the pace off it, didn't they? It's getting dark now, isn't it? The lights are on. I thought this was going to be entirely played in daylight, but that's not
I would have thought so, yeah.
Well, I suppose they're 4.5 hours ahead at the moment, so it's 6 o'clock in the evening. So I imagine it is getting dark.
Still, as you say, dew shouldn't be particularly a problem.
No, it gets dewy later.
Nadcat's in again, left arm over, down the leg side. De Kock shovels it round. Has he put that in the gap? Yes, he has.
That's a cracking shot.
Nice, just helped it round.
But he kind of stopped on the shot, didn't he, so that he didn't pull it around further. He obviously knew where the man was on the fence, and so he stopped on the shot, which meant it went slightly squarer.
Just adjusted himself, yeah. Very controlled. Certainly looks like a man who's on top of his game at the moment. De Kock.
Yep.
He's got too many options for the bowlers. Certainly for Nadcat, but stranger things have happened. See what Nadcat can do on a comeback. Here he comes. It's into the wicket, and De Kock can only play it back to the bowler for no run, so that's a minor victory. 77 for 1 in the 9th over. Target is 172. And you'd think 90 odd off 11 overs
should be doable.
Should certainly favour the batting side at the moment.
It's still 8.26. It's never easy to go 8.26, even with lots of batters hitting. for 11 overs on the trot. But as you
Well,
say,
no, nothing's easy, but these days I think it favours the batting side in good conditions. Nudd cuts in again. Fuller, another slower ball. De Kock works it to leg again. They're looking for 2. They're not going to get it, but at least they looked for it.
And Mumbai don't have a massive batting order. I mean, you've got Coulter coming in at 7, which isn't, he can hit the ball sometimes, but he's not someone I'd put as a genuine all-rounder.
no, but I mean, I think in a T20, if you're expecting anyone from 7 beyond to actually win the game, then you've lost the game. You've only got 20 overs. You're really
real
expecting
firepower with the Grunell brothers and Pollard.
And that's where you're expecting all
next
the
down
runs
to come in.
from.
Yeah.
That's why it's not so really important who your bottom order is. You're better off having good bowlers because.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, as long as one. I mean, Coulter could swing a bat, which is fine.
Yeah.
Shorter ball flashed away by De Kock, I think, out into cover. Sweeper fumbles the ball. Should still be 1. And it's 79 for 1. De Kock on 43. Surya Kumar on 16.
I mean, I guess that's genuinely why Chris. I mean, you do have to have an all-rounder in the side because you have to have a keeper, and therefore you've got to have 5 bowlers. So, someone who bats has to be able to bowl. I guess that's why Chris Morris is so expensive this year. Proved his worth in one game.
Commodity.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not an exceptional death bowler, but he's a decent death bowler, and he can certainly hit a long ball.
Yeah.
Unadkat, left arm over, full toss. De Kock punches down towards log on. Is he going to beat the fielder? Yes, he is. Lovely timing again.
Yeah.
That's 4 more. Is that 50 for De Kock? No, 47.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, that's not that easy a ball to time. It's shin high full toss, but he's just eased it through long on with enough pace to beat the fielder.
It's all about the timing, isn't it, really?
Yeah. So just quick shout out to a few people watching us through Crick Tracker India. There's Matthew Joseph, who says IPL Live. Moham Singh just says hi. Ashan Ashan says out. I'm not sure in relation to what. And back on Twitter, we've got Grand Theft Auto, Chris Paul, who had a glorious debut on Guerrilla Cricket last week.
He did indeed. This week, was it the other day? Tuesday.
This week, yeah. Referring to the fetish in relation to the sale of bags. Says fetish is surplus value manufactured desire. And Ravin there says definitely getting darker in India now. Proper dark in less than half an hour.
Onto the back foot is Surya Kumar, but he can't beat the fielder at extra cover. A bit disappointed with himself there. There's no run. Morris is back into the attack.
and Dave says Fast and Furious by number 10 will surely be slow and ponderous.
Slow and irritated.
Well, they reckon that franchise is really popular with just basically people who like fast cars. That's why they have loads of car
idiots,
chases.
basically. Yes.
Yeah, idiots. But then I've seen I mean, I haven't watched a whole one.
I haven't watched a second.
But I've seen. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, if you did any of that in a car, you'd be dead.
It's out. Surya Kumar isn't dead, but he's out. And if you hit the ball in the straight to short mid wicket, especially to please the bear, then that's going to be out.
No, well, indeed, and it's a good job that they had a short.
It's been caught out by a man in 2 hats.
Josh Butler.
Is it Butler? Of course, he's not keeping. Yeah.
That's handy because I've just gone over Quinton de Kock to get 73.5, and the last time I bet that the wicket would fall after another 20 runs or whatever, and literally Rohit smashed the next one straight to mid on. It's always very depressing. Don't get any value in that bet whatsoever.
Well, Surya Kumar just gave himself a little bit of room on leg stump and clipped the ball directly straight at those 2 hats of Josh Butler, trying to knock at least one of them off his head. Butler, of course, intervened by catching it. And Chris Morris has the 2 wickets, 2 for 8. for his 8 balls. That shows his value. It's going to be this man coming in next.
Well, this is where the middle order, which hasn't fired, needs to fire, you would think.
Oh, yep. Well, it needs to contribute, certainly.
It does. This man is going to come in.
If Krunal Pandya directed a Star Wars movie, would it be any good?
I still don't get that.
No, I don't think anyone does.
And Jeff Perkins had just tweeted, if only Krunal Pandya had made Star Wars.
Well, if only he'd made the last one, yeah, I said that at the time. But Morris, as you say, showing his value in the middle overs rather than the death, and he's going to come into the new batsman, Krunal, over the wicket, and Krunal tips into the leg side, and they'll amble through for a single. It is 84 for 2 in the 10th over.
It gets a little bit more interesting. Couple more wickets here for Rajasthan. I mean, the bookies have Mumbai as massive favourites, as you'd expect, I think.
What price Rajasthan?
Well, that's the interesting thing. Rajasthan are 3-1.
3-1, I might be interested, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Mumbai are 4-1 on.
Well, that's going to be very dependent on Quinton de Kock as a set batsman, 47 off 29. And he's just rearranging his gloves, putting his bat under his arm. But he's going to face up now to Chris Morris. Field spread far and wide onto the leg stump, and it's clipped through a long leg. Be an easy single.
Good strike rate as well from Quinton de Kock. Is it 48 or 30?
48 off 30, strike rate 160. And in a little bit of a waiting mode at the moment of the game. We're just trying to see if Krunal will get in and get going. A waiting pattern, a holding pattern. That's what I was looking for.
87 off 62 is eminently doable.
Definitely, yeah. Morris is in again. Shorter ball. And I thought Krunal had just got a touch on that as he shaped to ramp, but he actually thought better of it. It's a good short ball from Morris. Goes through for no run, and only 2 runs off this over as well as a wicket.
Yeah, good over for Rajasthan. The guy's got big ears.
He does.
Reminds me of the elf in Harry Potter.
For those not actually watching the game, Bear is referring to an interview with one of the assistant coaches for Rajasthan, whose name I don't know, but he has got big ears.
Morris is in to complete the over, cut down past backward point. They should get 2 here. Fielder is round in the deep. They will. 87 for 2 off 10, 85 required off the last 10 overs, and we could be set up for a good finish.
We could indeed. They've got more than halfway there. Give us some tweets, Messers.
So Renee Keeter says, fuck realistic effects. In Shakespeare's day, effects meant a guy holding up a sign that said Burnham Wood. Brian Barish says, g'day and good morrow, cricket nerds. What's this, an IPL double-header on a weekday? It's like Christmas or St. Coley's Day or something. And Tom O'Pollett says, if people who like fast cars like Fast and Furious, then surely with 9 points on this license, it's got to be the franchise for the Bear.
No, those 9 points, I'm telling you, those 9 points are evil. I will give the. I was doing 24 on an A road that should be a 30, but for some reason it was a 20 with hardly any signs on it.
Yeah. Same old.
And another one I got caught doing 48 miles an hour on a 70 mile an hour motorway when I was doing a World Cup the other year. I was going from Somerset. I had to go from Taunton to Manchester, between Somerset and Bristol on the M5. And I remember this clearly. It was coming up to a stanchion. They were clearly going to do some roadworks, right? Because there was some maintenance trucks on the left before the stanchion. The stanchion said 40, and there was one of those fucking GAT cams on it. There was no roadworks or anything for 20 miles, and there was hardly a car on the road. And it was a 40 mile an hour limit. I got done for that. I was fucking furious as that's cut down to backward point and there's no run. I mean, I was just confused as to why the 40 was up there. I assumed it had just been left up there from something earlier in the day.
That's how they get
you. You weren't just furious then, you're still furious.
I'm still furious.
Literally fast and furious.
And then the other one I got, and this is almost as fucking criminal. I used to drive out on the M40 out of London a lot, right? And I got a ticket when I was younger coming out of the underpass under the Hanger Lane roundabout. As
it was so furious. I'm actually on ball by ball, but that one's gone through the keeper, and it's going to be 4 byes. the batsman stepped across. The bowler Dubé followed him. It just kind of went through his feet. They went through Samson's dive, and it's gone for 4 leg byes in the end. Must have got a flick off the boot. Yes.
So I know this bit of the M40 very well. You come out on Hanger Lane roundabout, and there's a speed camera after the underpass, which is 40, right? And I got done that when I was very young, coming out of there. You go up and about half a mile, and it changes to 50, and then it's all 50 all the way out to the M40, right?
Dubé comes in again, punched away by De Kock out towards the sweeper. If he gets 2, I'll have 50, but I think that's probably only 1. Yep.
Indeed it is. Or so it used to be, right? And then so I got this speeding ticket, and it was out by Perry Vale, which is just before the M40 on the M40.
Yeah, I know it, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck, there's 50 miles an hour out there. I know this because I used to do it, and I got this speeding ticket when I was in my 20s, yeah? The road has never changed in that entire time. It's still exactly the same layout as it was then. So I went online and searched, and basically they hadn't replaced the crash barrier in the middle of the in the central reservation because they couldn't be asked, the council. And they decided that structurally it wasn't strong enough.
Through to the keeper, another short ball from Dubé, but it's too high, I guess, because it's been called wide.
Ooh.
It looked a bit harsh.
It did a little bit.
Wide.
And because they couldn't be asked to change the central reservation, they reduced the speed limit to 40. And I hadn't driven out that way for about 7 years.
So you don't actually bother looking at the speed signs?
Well, you do when you pick them up, but I mean they are kind of intermittent, and if you don't see them, you know. I mean, and you kind of rely on how you know a road.
Get away down the leg side. It's beaten the short fielder. Is it going to beat the man in the deep? Not quite, but they'll get back for 2. 2 for Crunell, 95 for 2 in the 11th.
It's David Miller out there. He's a big.
Are you
lad.
done?
Yes, I am done. Sorry, that's my rant on speed. Well, 9 points is fucking irritating. Exactly, you can't make a mistake.
I know you've got to follow the speed limit. When's the next time 3 get knocked off?
Well, 2 lots of 3.6 will get knocked off next summer.
Next summer, okay.
But I mean, this is it. I get paranoid. I get
Jeff
really paranoid.
Jeff Perkins says those ones are Clive Lloyd's fault.
Well, partly it was the bloody World Cup's fault because I wouldn't have been out that way if it wasn't for a fucking World Cup. That's true.
Stupid World Cup. Wish we'd never won it. Back to the bowler that goes. There's no run. It's been a bit of all sorts of Dubé in this over, but in fact only 3 runs have gone against his name. 4, I should say, with those leg byes.
And I was actually quite lucky because I got 4 tickets in the space of 2 weeks doing that World Cup. Fortunately, 2 of them you can do a speed course, one on a motorway and one on an A road. So I was able to take 2 speed courses as well. I'd have been banned in about 2 weeks flat, driving in a part of the country I didn't know, you know, so fucking hell.
Oh dear.
Dubé to complete the over. Crunell cuts away hard. He might get 4 for this one. The fielder's there. He may have stopped it. I'm not sure. There was a lot of boot and sponge and ball. We'll have to have a look at that one. Tuache with the fielding.
I thought his knee was brushing along the sponge as he stopped.
It looked a bit spongy, but it all happened very quickly. That's why we've got the replays. Hasn't been officially called yet. So he goes across. His foot's on the line there. It looks like 4. Yeah, it's a good effort, but it does look. He hasn't. His hand wasn't on the ball for very long.
No, but I think his foot that's on the ground is in contact with the sponge.
His trailing foot, most likely, yes.
Because it hits the sponge there. And it's still on the ground when he touches it. It's tricky.
Probably need another angle, but
we can spend 5 minutes on this one, Andy.
Most likely.
Well, Brian Barish says as exciting as all this is, Hampshire already 70 for 8 at Surrey. I may switch to that between games and then come back.
Well, I don't know if there'll be any time between games. It's 1:53 now. The next game starts at 3. And we've got
I think that's gone down as a 2. I think that's a good piece of fielding from Tuache.
Wow.
He's checking with the umpire, gives him a thumbs up. And Unadkat is going to come in left arm over to finish his spell. To De Kock on 49. Beats him. A little bit more zip on that one. De Kock rather prodded at it. Through to the keeper.
Wow. And Farong says we should be safe from a sandstorm at the Modi Dome. Rainstorm just passed through, but it's 42 degrees. Imagine what that's like.
Gosh. I don't like the idea of 42 degrees. We had a day, what was 37 last year, and that was extortionate. I mean,
2 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't think extortionate's a word you're looking for.
No, I didn't mean that. Extraordinary is what I meant. I'm talking too much.
Tipped into the leg side by De Kock. They're going for 2 again. The non-striker wanted it. De Kock thought better, because he's on 50. He's 50 off 35.
So I'm actually not going to read this tweet. I'm going to compose it. Things you don't expect to hear on Guerrilla Cricket, number whatever it is. I'm talking too much.
Yeah.
Don't do that very often, definitely.
Well, you kind of run out of things to say on the IPL. The same thing happens to every ball, you know.
Oh dear. Love it.
It's 98 for 2. 74 of 52 is the requirement. 15 IPL 50s for Quinton de Kock. Got a way to go to catch some of the leaders. I think there are. What was the highest? Warner has 30 something, I think.
Really? Wow. He's not doing very well this year, though, is he? Well, he's sidearm.
So much this year.
He was struggling yesterday.
Pushed out towards mid-off, and they'll pick up an easy single. Krunal hasn't got going yet. He's 8 off 7.
Well, this is where you wonder whether the slow drip of players leaving. It's kind of how much pressure does it put on you. You know, you've seen how many. If you're Australian, you've seen what 3, 4. Paul Rifle's gone as well. 4, 5. Let them go home. You think, oh, would I rather be at home? It's a bit shit here. You know. Da, 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 da.
Well, I don't think you're going to see many more Australians leave at the moment because getting home is such a challenge.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, Nadcat's back into De Kock. Left arm over to the left-hander. It's a slower ball. De Kock clubs it through cover. Past cover. He could get 4 for that one. Fielder is round. He's flicked it up in the air. Again, there was a lot of sponge in that one, but he may be okay.
No, he was definitely okay.
Bounced off the sponge before he picked that up the second time. Parag.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think he fielded it and then he went into the sponge and then got up and threw it. I think that's pretty safe. He was well inside when he fielded it. It was a question of whether it was actually going to roll back and hit the sponge.
It's only when he picks it up the second time he'll need to be clear, and he is. Yeah, quite careful with that one.
Good bit of fielding.
Yep. You thought that was 4 when it just beat the short cover. He was able to make up the ground in the outfield. Quick fielders out there.
Of course, the irony that some of the GCSA people have been putting on their WhatsApp group is that the Australians are in.
De Kock clubs that one up too long on. Should be a single.
The Australian players are quite happy to go into a pandemic in the worst place in the world, but weren't happy to go to South Africa to play cricket.
Well, some of them were. Some were sensible enough to say, I'm not even going to go in the first place.
What, to the IPL?
Yeah, Mitch Marsh and Josh Phillippe both said, no, not going.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have got top dollar. I don't know. Mitch Marsh has gone for a few in the past.
Yeah.
But, you know, at least it gives you that flexibility. You can say no to an IBL without a bunch of fans getting on your case and saying you're unpatriotic or whatever shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Talk about.
Well, because you're an overseas player, you can certainly get away with that, can't you? You know, and there's lots.
Well, that's what I mean.
There's lots to choose from as well. Yeah, and if you make a decent enough living, it's not the end of the world, is it?
Got that flexibility, and you're much more dependent on your own worth. Krunal's going to face this last ball the other from Nadcat. It's a slower ball, punches it through the gap, through the eye of the needle between cover and mid off, and he'll get 4.
That's a good shot.
Nice bit of placement there.
Ooh, Jazora Parker. Is that on this weekend?
Yeah. If you want to pay £20 to watch that, good luck to you.
I do like a good fight, but I don't like paying for it. I spend hours trying to find them free on the internet, but that's just as irritating. Hardly ever find them.
So hello to Sujit Ahir and Naresh Jamwal on Facebook, Crick Tracker India on Facebook, and we're up to date with tweets at the moment.
You just knocked your mic away from your mouth, I think, Messi.
You're quite right, I did, thank you.
The Worm is above
Only just. It's followed a very similar path.
They lost 4. How many wickets did they lost by him? 2. They were just
2
about
as
to
well, I
lose their
think.
second
Yes.
wicket. Yeah, so it's pretty even.
But you get the impression that Mumbai are pretty well in control here.
Yeah.
Rajasthan didn't really do enough of those last 8 overs. Tuach is back in. It's a full ball reverse sweep from De Kock. Didn't really get all of it. He was just run through for a single to deep point.
They seem to have slowed down a little bit. Mind you, there's 2 fours off the last, or certainly a 4 off the last ball. That was a beautiful shot. As you said, he just got it between the 2 fielders, and there wasn't much of an angle to squeeze it through.
Just angled it through, yes, very nicely. This time's clubbed up towards mid-on, a long on I should say, and it will be a single. Butler out in the deep, showing off his arm. And it's 108 for 2, 64 needed of 46.
You get the feeling they're moving really very comfortably on this at the moment. There's no signs of real stress, are there?
No.
Tuach is in again. Down the track comes Krunal. It's something on that. It might be a leg by, I think, because it loops up towards backward point.
It was a
yes,
leg
it
by.
is.
It was Quentin de Kock as well. Yes, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it was a game we watched the other day. Was it Tuesday? And there was a couple of wickets right at the end of the game that kind of screwed up whoever was chasing. And that could be something that... Go on, Andy.
Cut by Krunal, 2 backward points. They might have got a run there on the misfield, but I think they decided not to.
Sometimes you get that second chance when they need about 16 off the last 2 overs with loads of wickets in hand. They really should do it, but then you get a crucial wicket at the right time and it's the right person. It just slows everything down just enough so that
well, when you get that deep, 2 wickets or 4 wickets down isn't really any different.
Yeah, but for the bowling side, it makes a lot of difference because the guy's still coming in cold.
Well, yes, exactly. You can get someone in cold. Swept by Krunal down to David Miller. Square leg, and that'll be another single.
Yeah, you've only got 10 balls left, 2 of them taken up by dots, and then a squeezed 1 because you haven't got any time.
No, I know, but what I mean is there's no significant advantage in only being 2 down at that point. You haven't got time to use all these resources.
I suppose, yeah.
De Kock 54 off 39. Mumbai just slightly ahead at this stage, just 2 runs. That one is rather chopped into the ground, goes into the offside for a single. It's the end of the over, it's 111 for 2. Are we switching round or one more?
One more.
One more, okay.
One more, you've got one more, and then I'm off.
So Warren says, I am of the age and the immigrant status that single digit and lower temperatures are cold, temperatures around 70 are nice, and anything over 80 is hot. Everything in the middle, I'm clueless.
80's nice, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, frankly, it took me a very long time to get used to anything that wasn't in Fahrenheit. I'm just about there now, but they still mean something to me, Fahrenheit temperatures. Yeah, and I kind of like the fact that 100 degrees was just a great barrier in terms of...
A benchmark, yeah.
But what is that in Celsius?
It's about 38.4, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very rarely do we get that here, crikey. I suppose you get that quite a lot. You get it quite a lot in West Australia, I presume, in the summer.
We do. Although strangely, the last few years we've had it less often. So weird stuff's happening with climate change here. We're getting more rain and more humidity in the summer than we used to. It used to be just dry heat.
Sakaria, who's the new one on me, looks a very young bowler, pushed out towards deep point by De Kock, be no run. He is a left arm seamer.
He's not too bad. Seen him a couple of times actually. He's not the quickest.
Yep.
Seems to have reasonable accuracy. He's considering he is so young and experienced.
Well, he is 23, isn't he?
I can't remember.
One of these baby-faced players.
Yeah.
Cheap local.
He's now facing up to Krunal. Little hop at the start of his run-up.
23 years and
full
60
ball,
days,
pushed past the bowler. That'll be another single up to long off. Joss Butler with the fielding.
What bowling have they got left? That's the interesting thing. Who's got overs left? Let's have a look.
Morris has at least one. Unadkat's bowled out.
So he's got an over after this as Sakurai. Unadkat is bowled out, as you say. The Fizz has 2. Chris Morris has 2, Tuatara has 2, and Dubé has 3 if they want him, but I don't think they will.
No one particularly to scare you there. Wide ball lifted up into the offside by De Kock. It's going to land in empty space. The fielder is around. They will pick up 2.
What's your bet on for the cock, Bear?
Over 73.5, I think.
Ooh, way to go, yeah.
Yeah, way to go, yeah, but he's still there, which is at least a bonus.
He's on 58. Crunel 15 off 12.
70.5. Even better.
In the meantime, as we get deeper and deeper, those wickets in hand should help Mumbai more and more, up to a point. Skyer there from De Kock. He might be in trouble this time. Fielder is running back. He has spilled it. It was a very difficult one. He's into space again. De Kock suddenly seems a little bit less controlled. Fielder was running back from the ring. He stretched his absolute utmost and could only get a finger on the ball, I think.
I thought he actually got it in his hands for a little bit. It seemed to have stuck, and then his hand...
Out of the back of the hand from the bowler was nicely bowled. There he goes, and just in his fingers, and he just can't quite hang on to it. Going backwards, good effort.
That was a good effort. It's been some terrible catching in the IPL this year, though. A lot of really dollies being dropped at professional standard.
Well, the Royals are going to need to get De Kock out one way or the other, I think. Here comes Sakurai again. It's clubbed that one up too long off. It's one bounce. Miller, excellent piece of fielding. Picks it up cleanly on the dive and gets it back in. He's certainly saved a run there. That was good fielding.
That was exceptional fielding. It was on the dive, as you said. It was bouncing. It only bounced a little bit in front of him. It was going at good pace. Picked it with
and
one hand.
Quickly back on his feet.
Yeah. Drop and roll. Skid, up and throw. That's a really good bit of fielding.
Very flat throw, yeah.
And a young man, who's that? Thinking, I wish I could do that.
Might be Dubé. Sakurai is in again. It would have been wide, I think, but Crunel clubbed it out to cover, pick up a single. It's the end of the over. Well bowled. 3 overs, none for 18 for him. And it's 119 for 2. We'll have a timeout. We'll also have a change here, with Mumbai needing 53 off the last 6 overs.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And who is coming on? Hendo. Andy.
I'll catch you in 55 minutes for the next game.
Indeed. Is Hendo here?
Yep, it's me. I'm back. I've just had toasted cheese and I'm feeling full of beans. Although I didn't have any beans.
Full of cheese.
Full of cheese, more to the point. It looks like Mumbai are on the way to victory here. You'd have to say the way that De Kock is batting. And they've got the big heavy hitters to come in the form of Hardik Pandya, of Kieran Pollard. Krunal Pandya, of course, been pushed up the order today, I think, to number 4. There's a lot for the Royals to do. If I was a betting man like the Bear, I would be putting my £5 on the Mumbai Indians.
Depending on the odds.
Even then, I think I'd be still putting on the Mumbai Indians.
Okay, I'll give you 1 to 100 Mumbai Indians then.
Maybe not.
Some temperature talk on Twitter. Brian Barish says, we had a pretty mild winter here in Philly. I don't think the temperature got under 20 degrees Fahrenheit more than once or twice. We still got 3 major snowstorms. I imagine we'll get more than a few hundred days Fahrenheit here. They suck. Layers confused. Says, Fahrenheit is weird. Using an isothermic mixture as 0, I get, but the other defining point is the temperature in an armpit at 96. It makes no sense. Jersey
is that what the temperature in your armpit is?
Well, it's quite warm, isn't it?
I suppose so, yeah.
Jersey Oak says, I suppose Messi Jez has only just got used to Australian dollars rather than Australian pounds. Yeah. When did that change?
I don't know, actually. I mean, when did Messi Jez has been out there since the 70s, though, hasn't he? He's been out there forever, really. So he's a fully fledged Aussie now.
He's a native, yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to the Ashes, we certainly know whose side Messi is on. Or it may just be that they all hate England.
My mate Jurgen from round here, he moved out there 20 odd years ago. He's now a naturalised Australian. He's got his, whatever it is, citizenship, and he's an Aussie.
I'm guessing he was German to start with.
Born in Woodford, his mother was German and his father was Indian.
Woodford German. There may be more than one, of course, I suppose.
Well, he's Indian and German. His
Okay.
dad's classic. His dad was, I don't know, do you remember Goodness Gracious Me with the father that everything brilliant in the world was Indian? And that was, that was Jürgen's dad. Jürgen's dad was convinced that the best fighter pilots in the world were Indian. Always
So
Indian.
He was half Indian and half German.
And born in Essex.
And born in Essex. That's an incredible mixture, isn't it?
And now he's Australian.
And now he's Australian.
That's something, yeah.
He's only got enough nationalities to be going on with.
I would think so.
I'm kind of a bit-
Brian tells us that it changed in 1966. There was a song and everything about the Australian dollars and pounds.
I didn't know that, although there has been also some update from messages on the Zoom chat saying Australia went decimal in 1967, 3 years before I got there. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, he got there in the 70s, I think. We're back to action, and the first ball is driven high and very long indeed, and that has gone all the way for
Hit
an
the camera,
enormous
man.
6.
6.
All right, the bear's gone off to the woods.
Oh, the
again.
bear's
Yep.
gone again. Goodness me! Can't he just do it between in
Yeah, do it at Amazon.
breaks?
Yeah, give him a bottle.
Yeah, you'd have thought so. That's right, you get a bottle in there. He's got a bottle in the green room. That'll do for him. That was a lovely stroke from Pandya. It really was. It went miles.
Dead straight. Yeah.
Yeah, really good indeed. Tawatia is the man with the ball in his hand. Leg break bowler. He's coming in again to the left-handed Krunel. Throws this one up on his legs and he whips it into the onside behind square, straight to the man there on the 45. And so this time they don't get a run, but they're ahead of the game with that early 6.
Of course, Tuatia's name, it does lend itself to getting twatted around the ground, doesn't it?
It does indeed, it does indeed. Although he sometimes does twat the ball around himself.
Excellent.
As we've seen. Anyway, he's coming in again, right over the wicket. That could be the googly, but Pandya rocks back and cuts, and he cuts backwards square. Is that going to bring in more than one? Will they get back for the second? Yes!
He should do.
He has to put the dive in to get there. And immediately, having put the dive in, he seems to have ripped his glove. So he's gesticulating to the dugout that he needs at least a new left-handed glove, if nothing more.
I don't know if you saw the news in the breaks that Alistair Campbell is going to take over from Piers Morgan on Good Morning England or whatever the TV programme is.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, why did you say oh dear? Do you watch it?
I have watched it in the past.
I've never watched
The
it.
oh dear's on you then.
I know.
Yes.
When I
Why do you
say I've
watch all
watched
this
it,
stuff that makes you so angry?
I passed through it. Is what is more what I would say. I mean, I've actually, I never really liked Piers Morgan, but I did like the fact that he was calling the government to account over COVID and the various negligent moments it was having. That was the one good thing about him. Alistair Campbell, well, he's a spin doctor, isn't he? What else can you say? Is he really on the on the left? I don't think he is that much. Down the leg side, trying a sweep, Krunal Pandya, but makes no contact. But he does get a wide out of it. Score is 128 for 2.
The only good thing about it is the gammon on Twitter are going absolutely apeshit.
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
Tawatia again, none for 27, halfway through his third over. And it looks like Mumbai Indians are going to do this comfortably at the moment. In he comes, bowls, and with the spin he plays up to long on, quite wide. Miller again. Or was it in fact Butler on that occasion?
Butler, yep.
Yep, and they get through for a single, 129 for 2. De Kock is on 61 from 44 deliveries.
I wouldn't like to play for Rajasthan.
Would you not? Why?
You have to wear those pink pyjama bottoms.
I quite like the pink. I think it goes well with the blue. I'm not fully. I wouldn't be fully. If I was fully pinked up, I wouldn't be happy. But with the blue, I think it works.
West Indies World Series style.
Yeah, cut backwards square this time by De Kock. Again, no, this time they just settle for the 1.
I don't like pink.
What, just in general?
Yes.
Okay.
Which of these sides is more likely to make the playoffs? Is the question of the day on the official website. I think we can probably say Mumbai Indians, and that is what 76% of those people watching agree. Onto the back foot again for Krunal. Forces through mid-off, makes a dive. Actually, the man from extra cover coming across. And that is just another single. 131 for 2, 41 required from 30 deliveries. Nesters.
Barong says, on temperature and thermometers, I won't raise the question of temperature and being applied to the rectal area. Well, Barong, you just have.
did, yeah.
Brian Barish has sent a little cartoon of the Australian guys when they changed from pounds to Aussie dollars. You can all see that there on our Twitter feed. 14th of February 1966. And there's the little song. So yeah, all quiet on the other front, I think. We've been through the names, have we, on Cricket Tracker India?
I don't know. I was eating toasted cheese for the last 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll run through a couple while I'm here. Latif Ahmed Kar, Sakut Sakir, Masood Alam, Raj Bunenga Dangva Rajjabi, bloody hell, MD Kabisuddin, Imran Sheikh.
You're doing well.
Ravi Hiwarani, Shirani Sana Jaisa, Munshi Ali Zamir, and Vikram Singh.
And more easily, Chris Morris into the attack.
Yes.
And he bowls an awful leg side full toss, which is whipped away by Krunal Pandya immediately for 4 runs. Is the bear back?
No, he's not. That's one of those that would have been a wide, but it's if you're sure you know where you're hitting it, it's a free hit. You don't want to hit those for a single, but he did just find the gap.
He's got a plate of food. He's got toast, I think. Has he got toast? Yeah, it looks like it. What you got, Bear? What you got?
Salmon and cream cheese bagel.
Oh, bagel. Where'd you get a bagel from? I bought it, I suppose.
I bought it,
yeah. I suppose that would make sense. Morris in again to Pandya. This is outside the off stump, and he carves this over the top of extra. It rather spins back towards the man at deep cover and dies a little bit on its way. They take the single, 136 for 2. Morris is into his 3rd over. Figures already of 2 for 17. He's got both wickets to fall for Mumbai so far. Got Rohit Sharma caught at mid-on. Rohit, he's just been flattering to deceive in this tournament. He looks good for 20 or 30 and then gets himself out mostly. Not going on and getting those big scores that you would expect of a man who can score 260 in one-day cricket, that he would get some really big.
Well, he certainly can.
T20 scores.
He can.
Just hasn't been doing it.
I mean, a few 20s is better than a few noughts and 3s and whatnot.
Oh, absolutely. Full whipped away by de Kock this time behind square, and they'll run through for a single. 137 for 2, 35 required off 20.
Yeah, it's just starting to look very comfortable. Both these batsmen really well set. Royals desperate for a wicket, and they've turned to Chris Morris, the man who's only managed to take it only so far, and this is looking a bit like their last roll of the dice.
Yeah, well, it looks like Mumbai Indians will go up to 6 points. They won't actually rise at all today. There's a little bit of a gap opened up between the top 3 and the rest. But if Delhi win, they'll go back to the top again tonight. That's the game that's coming up after this one. In comes Morris, back of a length, pulled powerfully by Krunal. Strapple, really, down to Miller at long on. And they take another 1.
For wrong wonders, is Tony Bishop in Saint-Tropez celebrating Watford getting promotion or Middlesex winning a county game? It's just a rumour. I don't know.
That's why he won't do any. That's why he won't do any articles for me. He's in Saint-Tropez. He didn't tell me that.
Is that where he goes when Watford win something?
It's no wonder they all wanted to join the European Super League. Watford back in the Premier League.
Yeah, well, exactly. Too much, isn't it? Morris in again, bowls a slower ball this time, but de Kock waits for it and then just places it through the covers. They take the easiest of singles, 139 for 2, just the 1 ball remaining of this 3rd Morris over.
I don't know why it is, but whenever I see Saint-Tropez, I always think of a certain thing. What do you guys think of when you hear Saint-Tropez?
Cocktails.
Sorry?
Cocktails.
Really?
Don't you think everyone would drink cocktails?
Topless sunbathing.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know why. It was a thing probably back in the 70s, was it? In the late
sun.
70s?
I think of sun and sea and sand. I wouldn't say I particularly think of topless bathing. That's right up in the block hole, but somehow Krunal Pandya has dug it up to mid-off, and although Butler is coming in and shying at the stumps, he will get there comfortably enough. 140 for 2, 32 required off the final 4 overs. Loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of wickets in hand.
Ravi says Nestler's getting in touch with his feminine side. Pink was traditionally the boys' colour in Regency and Victorian England. Well, no, I don't like pink, Ravi, and also I wasn't around in the Regency and Victorian
Not quite that old.
No. Hampshire are all out for 92 at Surrey, says Brian Barish.
92. Now that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how Surrey respond to that. I'm curious as to work out whether that's just a pitch that is very much in the bowler's favour, or whether Hampshire, who've been in tremendous form already this season, have just mucked up terribly.
Well, Essex were all out for 96 in one of their games and then won it, didn't they?
Yes.
First innings. Yeah.
That is true. But they came back well, didn't they? Was that the game against Warwickshire that they won in the end, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Am I right? Did they come back and win that game?
Yeah.
They did, yeah. Right, 140 for 2, 4 overs to go. Funnily enough, this is exactly what Rajasthan Royals had at this stage. It's strange because they were at 70 for 1 after 10 overs as well, both of them. So they're keeping each other company.
But Bumrah came in and bowled 2 really tight overs in that.
Yeah, we've got Mustafa Zar instead, and he's lifted. First ball. Is someone under that, or is it going into the crowd? Well, it didn't go too far over the boundary, but it did make it. And although there were 2 fielders who were interested, neither could get to it, and it is 6 more runs.
Yeah, 6 off the first ball really sets you up, really puts pressure on the bowler. They do say if you want to target the ball, look for the first or the last of the over.
Yeah, well, the first, yes, absolutely, it sets you up, and the last, it disappoints and it demoralises the bowler if he's bowled really well.
You've got the whole over to think about it, yes.
Yeah. In comes Mustafa Zar again, bowls to Prunal Pandya. That's a good ball. That dipped in at him at the last, and it was quite full. And all Pandya could do was lay a bit of bat on it, a bit of pad as well, I suspect. And there is no run. 146 for 2, 26 required off 22 balls. 8 wickets in hand. De Kock set on 64 from 27. Krunal on 39 from 24.
This, of course, could play into our hands because this should finish before the next one.
So we get a bit of a break. Whoa! From our 8-hour marathon. In comes Mustafa Zar again, past the umpire. Good ball, slow ball. He tries to pull, hit on the pad. Probably a bit too high. There's no appeal. The ball runs out to the onside. The bowler goes and collects it. So a couple of dot balls following that 6. So this is a good response from the Bangladeshi. Of course, could be playing for Bangladesh. Is it Bangladesh he plays for?
Yes.
Bangladesh, yes. I'm getting mixed up now. Bangladesh, of course, playing Sri Lanka in the second test. Sri Lanka, I think, were 290 for 1 last time I looked. I can't understand how those pitches in Sri Lanka are so good in April, whereas in January, when England were playing there, the wickets were falling for fun.
Isn't the clue in the question there?
Because of that, you mean? He's bowled him! He's bowled him! He tried to swing through the line of that one. He's found a gap between bat and pad, and he has bent back the middle stump. So it's an even better recovery from Mustafa Zar than I was suggesting. And he has his first wicket. Krunal Pandya has gone for 39. Yeah, again, it was another of those ones that he got just dipping into him a little bit. He aimed the drive at it, got a thick inside edge into the middle stump, and that was that.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Krunal seemed to, after hitting that first ball for 6, seemed to want to try to hit every ball for 6 in that over. I didn't quite get away with that one. No, I was just saying that how strange a spinning pitch looks worse when England are batting on it.
Yeah, that's a fair point, I suppose. To be fair, though, Sri Lanka didn't do very well on them either. So, they're different grounds. I mean, England played all those games at Gaul, didn't they? All those games, both of those games at Gaul. I can't remember the first test. Was it Palakelly? I think it was the Palakelly.
You're certainly asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Palakelly. This one is being played at Kandy. So it's different grounds, and I suppose that can make a difference. Or maybe it's simply because those tests were sort of over pretty quickly. I don't know. 146 for 3. Pollard. I mean, how demoralising it is having just got rid of Krunal Pandya to have a man beast like Kieran Pollard.
I was going to say, Quinton de Kock is not that small, but Pollard's a full head figure.
Oh, he's huge. He's a huge man. I don't think he's quite as big as Andre Russell. If you laid them down side by side, I
so I'll get
say
back
that
to you.
Andre, the big Dre, was a little bit bigger, but they are considerable units. Let's put it that way. Anyway, it's going to be Mustafa Zar bowling to the right-hander, Pollard. He's got a man at slip now. He's brought him into second or maybe third slip. Backward point, extra cover, mid-off, back on the edge of the circle. I'll bring you the onside field when I can see it. In comes the bowler. Oh, back of a length, and it's getting very exciting out there because it went through the keeper. And immediately, Sampson chucked the ball at the stumps and hit. Pollard hadn't gone down the wicket to any great degree, so there wasn't really a chance, I don't think, of a run out.
I'm not sure if Pollard was just dozing a little bit there. Maybe was just still standing there outside his crease.
He could have been. Maybe he's actually taking guard outside his crease. You could be right about that. So maybe it's a small bit of cricket from Sampson. But anyway, it's another dot ball. So apart from that 6, it's been really good from Mustafa Zar, and he's in again to complete. It's driven back at him, and he half stops it, but it'll only be a single. I'm not quite sure what Butler was doing there. He overran it from long off and allowed Tawatia at long on to do the fielding. Might have fooled him. They take the single, so Pollard keeps the strike. 25 required from 3, 147 for 3.
Leia says Mumbai should just drop Hardik. He forgot how to bat apparently, and Shastri seems to have threatened Mahalia with having to drink with him. You should let him bowl. Mizzy confirms that in the other game, the oval, as per Crick info, is a typical April green top, and Surrey have made good use of it. And there's another collapse klaxon from Brian Barish. Warwickshire 31 for 8 at Durham. Ben Rain is 5 for 5 from 8 overs. Will Rhodes is top score for Warwick's walks with 10. And Sarju Khan says Tatatya.
Tatatya. Okay. The other thing I was going to say is I just had a little look at Twitter, and Lawrence Booth, editor of Wisden, has told us that Jordan Clark got 6 wickets in that Hampshire 92 all out, and it's something I was thinking a few minutes ago. He said, what will Mohammed Abbas do on this juicy green top? I think we could see Surrey in no time at all. I was hoping to get Jules onto the IPL on Sunday afternoon, one of the games, and she told me she was scoring for Surrey Hampshire, but if it was over before Sunday she might be available, so it's looking hopeful. Morris is coming in to bowl to Pollard. He's got the slip in as well, and he launches this high over extra cover. It was nowhere near a half volley.
No, it wasn't.
It's an incredible touch if you can play a shot like that when you've just come in, and he's gone away to Morris's consternation for a giant 6.
Talking about players not moving their feet earlier on, he just did his pre-delivery move and then just stood there and threw the bat through the ball outside off stump.
Yeah, he went right back, he went deeper into his crease, didn't he, just before he delivered, and then smacked it. Here comes Morris again. What can he produce? Oh, a good Yorker, a little bit of in-swing as well. It's got low on the bat from Partners. Somehow he's got 4 runs for that.
Yes.
Now that is just insult to injury for the bowler, because it was a good
really
delivery.
Is.
Very low on the bat face closed, and somehow by doing that he's got it between deep square leg and long on and picked up 4 more.
You know, everyone's going to be talking about Pollard now. You can give Krunal some credit. You know, you're talking about that middle order not really scoring. 39 off 25 was very solid. Very good contribution in there, yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
He's put them in this position where a couple of hits from Pollard practically got them over the line.
Well, this is right. A man who's got a strike rate of 149. He's just about to go to 3,100 runs. And he's waiting for Morris. 15 off 16 now required. He's in. He bowls him a bounce, and he's coned him. He's coned him on the bunt. And that's run down to. It's run down to 5 leg. He's going to get a 4-leg buys. Extraordinary stuff. He was willing it on its way, and poor old Chris Morris comes down to Pollard, and they bump fists in a kind of recognition of the humour that you can get from cricket. 4 more.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Is it a concussion timeout?
Well, he ducked into it. It wasn't a great piece of batting. He's ducked into it, and you're looking for short hind leg, and he's just not there. And again, that's what Pollard can do to you. He can make you set a field. I don't think there was a short fine leg in at all. And He's making some very strange gestures at someone on the replay.
No, he's telling the ball to go.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it was. He was willing it to the boundary, wasn't he?
Because I guess he would have got nothing at all because they weren't running for whatever reason.
Okay, 161 for 3, 2.5 overs to go, and they only need 11 runs now.
Yeah, it looks like you are going to get a little break.
We are going to break because the physio's out there, as he said. He's having a little chat to check that Pollard is okay. I don't know. I think he's probably got a skull that is
It's
thicker
like
than
being
most
hit
of
by
ours.
a table tennis ball.
Yeah, for him it'll just brush it off. I mean, you know, he's a huge unit.
Now, can you, from a medical perspective, can you tell me what the point of that was?
Any type? No, it's. I can understand it. I can understand.
Yeah, but they
blow-
didn't seem to do anything.
Well, it's just a check. He'll ask him. He'll do that. Whatever check. How many fingers I'm holding up. I would rather see that as a requirement by law, and you might say, well, that one's probably okay, than leave it to teams to decide, or
then go off,
or to automatically. No, he shouldn't have to automatically go off. No.
Morris bowls him another bouncer. It's a slower bouncer this time. He waits for it and he gives it the forehand smash to backward point. Then the throw comes in, and they think there might be an overthrow, but there isn't. 161 for 3. That was down at 116 Ks. So we've had 14, 18 runs off the first 4 balls. That was the first dot ball, but of course, was one a wide as well? Or
No, only 14 runs.
14? No, because you got 4 leg buys, didn't you?
Yeah, 6-4 and 4 leg buys.
Oh, sorry, I thought there was another 4 in there. Getting a bit confused, as I am
Do you
about
need
my
a concussion check?
I think I do, as I am about my Sri Lankan stadiums. This is just dropped casually down to third man by Pollard, and he jogs through for the single. He goes to 12 from 7, and as I say, it's now really just the last knockings of this game. Mumbai Indians are going to get there.
Once you get below a run a ball at this stage, there,
and with so many wickets in hand, it's.
I mean, as you say, 2 down or 5 down now isn't much difference.
Probably not.
I mean, you say you're not going to win this by 1 wicket, are you?
No. I mean, on that said, do you remember Andre Russell earlier in the tournament taking a 5 for 15 from 2 overs? So, right at the end as well, the 18th and 20th
the
overs.
first innings.
18th and 20th overs though. In comes Morris to the left-handed de Kock, who seems to have gone very quiet. Hasn't had much of the strike for a while. He just eases this into the offside and takes the single. He will keep the strike. 9 required. 2 overs to go. Mumbai are going to walk it.
Well, the question for the Bear: if de Kock ends up on sort of 66 not out, do you lose, or is that a tie and get it back?
No, I presume you lose.
I think you probably do. Yeah. So he needs a bit of strike.
Exactly. He only needs what's he on now?
65.
So I need a 6 basically.
You need him. I think he's going to be on strike next over.
Yeah, he's on strike for the first ball. Hopefully he hits that for 6, and I'm happy.
Layers cleaning you up, Hendo.
I just mentioned that. I saw that.
Right.
Palakali and Candy. Yeah, okay. My apologies.
And Farong says Mustafiza Rahman is the Bangladesh equivalent of, say, James Smith. I have 8 mates whose name is MR, but being in Bangladesh, I also have friends named Muhammad Ali and Saddam Hussein.
Of course. So here comes the Bangladeshi James Smith. Bowls to de Kock. Kock lifts it over. Extra cover. It's going to run to the boundary. He's going to go to 69. Yes, he is. The Bear is in the money almost. And Mumbai Indians are 167 for 3. They need 5 to win. So de Kock is on 69 for 49. The Bear needs him to go past 70.
5 wides coming up.
I need him to get to 71.
Or you need him more past 71?
No, I need him to get to 71.
All right. Well, he's got 5 runs to play with. Best hope he doesn't get a single and allow Pollard to hit the final 4. So let's see what he can do. He's just standing.
But that's pretty much all we've got riding on this game now, because they're surely going to win.
Oh, they are.
In this over.
Yes. Mustafizar in again. Bowls to de Kock. It's a full toss. He swings it into the onside, but mishits it. And I think he's only going to get 1 run, Bear. He's only going to get 1 run. He's 70 not out. He's not going to get 71 because Kieran Pollard is going to smash the next delivery, or one of the next 2 or 3 deliveries. for a 4 or 6, and the bear is going to be stranded. He's looking like a little baby bird, looking up expectantly for.
He's giving you a baby bird.
For some
like a little
nourishment.
child whose ice cream has just dropped onto the pavement.
Anyway, we do only need 4.
I know
runs
the
from
feeling,
Ten
mind
balls.
you.
What, of being a baby bird, or of
No, of losing a bet like this.
Oh right. Oh, I thought I was going to talk about ice cream for a moment. I'd be more disappointed with that. Mustafa Zar then to the right-handed Kieran Pollard is thinking, where can I put this to upset the bear? In he comes, he bowls, and he flicks it away. Oh, hang on, it may only be 1, or is he going to go for 5? Gone for 4. The bear is distraught. He's lost his bet. His head is bowed, and the Mumbai Indians have won by 7 wickets. A very comfortable victory in the end, and built really on good knocks from Quinton de Kock and from Krunal Pandya. Mumbai Indians go, well, they don't go up the table, but they do gain 2 more points. They go to 6 points. They remain in 4th, but they've got back to winning ways. As Joss Butler caresses Kieran Pollard. And if I was anywhere near Kieran Pollard, I would probably caress him as well.
You'd
that is it
certainly
then.
mind your manners.
Indeed. I certainly wouldn't say anything nasty. He's having a little chat with Chris Morris, who says, look, I'm the bloke who's worth a hell of a lot of money. What do you think you're doing? I've coned you and it's gone for 4. What is happening out there? Anyway, we have another game to come in about 20 minutes. I think we should have a little break. I think we should go off, have a little interlude. What do you think, Bear?
24 minutes and 24 seconds.
Okay,
yeah, well, I
let's
need
have
to.
a little break for 20 minutes. We're going to have to listen to.
No, we're not. We're going to go off air for 20 minutes because I've got to reset everything. Choose different
We're going
games.
off air. There you go. So you're going to have to tune back in
In
to
20
Gorilla
minutes.
Cricket in about 20 minutes' time, and we will have the Delhi Capitals against the Knight Riders.
See you then.
Look forward to it. See ya. Bye.
And I'll see you at the weekend.
Bye. Bye.
Guerrilla cricket.